Hey, what's going on? Sure. Stuff is set the way it needs to be. can't spell.
Well, we do have Garrett and Rick in the chat. Can you guys hear us?
And they're like, yes, unfortunately.
Either they don't hear us or...
There we go.
Nitro says yes. Nitro said yes to something.
Alright, so you guys can hear us. Alright, good. Alright.
Caston, you hear us? It sounds like the Jar Jar Binks talk.
Alright, well, I mean, this is the first week of us doing this, so I mean, we're having technical glitches.
First week of us doing what?
We're live on Twitch.
Podcast.
You said this was only going to be for Monumental.
No.
Yeah,
It doesn't get more monumental than having me on the show.
You are right about that.
It doesn't get any more monumental than an episode of Trophy Horse.
That's exactly what you said, because Alex even asked you, what's so special about 531? No, just a special show.
No. Okay, let me clarify the text message that you're now trying to troll me on.
I'm not trying to troll you. I'm saying exactly what was said. We were like, why are we going live on Twitch? Well, this is just for the Monumental show. What's so monumental about this episode? And then nothing was said.
Dupes made a point that the music on Twitch is drowning the voices out, which I had to mute the Twitch window because my ears were starting to bleed.
Music's gone.
Okay.
There
we go.
See, the problem is I all this is on one scene. So when I took off the cover image, it didn't take off the sound. Thank you, Nitro. All right, so we're doing this live on Twitch every single week. What I said was you guys don't have to do anything different except when we do the monumental shows.
What's up, Nitro?
So that's what I said there, Yield.
I don't know. Alex, is that how you took it?
He started talking two different ways, and it was kind of hard to interpret what he actually meant, because he said one thing when he said that we're going to do it every week or we're going to do shows from now on. It's like, okay, well, we're doing it every week. And then he said something about only monumental shows, and then like, wait a minute, what? What I said was starting this Sunday, we're going to start doing the show on Twitch. You don't have to do anything different. You sent an emoji. I said only on the landmark shows, meaning you don't have to do anything different other than the landmark shows. Alex says, what's the landmark about 531? I say, in week to week, nothing changes, but I'm good. And then Alex said, I'm good, whatever gives people access to the show. And I said, only on the landmark shows. So every week, we're going to do this live on Twitch. You don't have to do anything different except when we do the landmark shows. Okay, I'm just saying some of the semantics got kind of confusing there.
Okay.
But I understand what you're saying now that you've cleared it up.
All right, so I got to bring up my Audacity.
It's not Levelator. Get out of here, Levelator. Oh, and I need to cut down my volume here.
All right, Riley, you know you record yourself, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you're a little low. Is that your volume, or is it you far away from the mic?
I'm not far away from the mic. I've got my headset on. I'm trying to... Let me see. Let me go back to... Too many settings! Okay.
Well, to be fair, as long as we can hear him answer... respond to what he says, but also as long as the recording is good on his end.
Yeah, I was working with my recording to get the Audacity levels sorted earlier so that it's not picking up my ceiling fan and my air conditioner. Adjust speaker. No, that's not what I want to adjust. Okay. How do we... There we go. Automatically adjust microphone settings. No, Skype, I can handle it. Is that better?
That sounds a little better, yes.
Okay. Cool. Okay.
Nitro says, it's nice to see a real streamer, LOL, at Average Geeks.
Hey, Nitro, you liked my stream the other day.
All right.
Well, I just babbled for 2.5 hours while assassinating people.
Yeah, I was surprised you went that long. I thought you only could do like an hour.
Oh, really?
She
Yes.
said.
All right. Is everybody good to go?
Ye of little faith, Tricky Mech.
I just.
I'm good. Are we ready? Should I start my recording now or wait till after the show?
Wait till after the show.
Okay.
The way we do this is I'm going to say everybody hit record now. You're going to hit record. You just say something to make sure you're spiking. I'm going to go 5 seconds of silence, do the countdown. You know how to do the countdown, then we just start the show. And at the end, I do the 5 seconds of silence and the countdown again, and then we just match up that we all hit.
Okay. Works for me.
All right, everybody got their recording up?
Mike keeps going bananas here.
Yeah, you just dropped really low.
B-A-N-A-N-A-S.
Shit. Okay. I don't know why. There's a ghost in the machine. It keeps fucking about with my settings. Like I haven't even changed anything. That's automatically adjust. Okay, that's set how I want it. Why is Audacity being a bitch? Doot. How you do this?
Deuce wants to know how did no one laugh at the Michael Scott-esque? That's what she said.
Because I hate that joke. People have way overused it. It was great in the beginning, and then people just, drove into the ground.
All right, let me know when you're ready, Riley.
Let me see. Shit. All right. Do my levels sound okay now?
You sound fine now.
All right, then let's go before shit goes south again.
All right, everybody hit record now. I can't hit record. What the hell?
I am recording.
I'm
It's
recording.
recording.
All right, hold on. I gotta restart my Audacity. It's not picking up the mixer.
I am still recording.
Yep, so am I.
I'm still 25 seconds in.
What the fuck? Oh, that's why it's messing up.
Why is it messing up?
Because I didn't. Nope, that's not why it was messing up. Because I didn't have the channels right. Oh, come on! Don't do this to me now. This is why we can't have nice shit.
No, right?
Test. I am recording. 5 seconds of silence. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
One.
You are listening to Trophy Horse.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Trophy Horrors. This is episode 531. I'm your host, Tricky Mick. Alongside with me, the man, the myth, the legend. It's Alex.
And we continue on this episode 531 with guests that will outshine the regular host of this show.
He brings the awesome every week. It's I Yield to No One.
I'm just confused with what Tricky Tex is.
I thought Tricky was from New York, not Texas.
It would make more sense if he was from Texas.
Wow, we are starting off like this. And he is the brain, and he has 76 of them. It's Riley.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is so good to be back behind the microphone, as it were. It's been a minute.
How long has it been since you podcasted?
Jesus, it's probably been at least a couple years since I did any regular podcasting. When we did the tried to start up the Gametwerp legacy, and did some stuff. But yeah, it's been a hot minute for sure.
All right. So,
and among all the things that the world has taken from us, that is certainly among in the podcasting world one of the worst things that we didn't get Gametwerp Reloaded. Oh, that would have been good. Gametwerp Reloaded.
Yes. I wonder if I still have the bit that we did, like the Back to the Future-esque bit that announced the new show, like the teaser.
That actually wasn't a bad one.
That wasn't bad. I'll have to see if I can dig that up.
all right. So, we have people in the chat. For anybody that doesn't know, we're going to attempt to try to record the show every week live on Twitch. We have people in the chat right now, and I'm going to try to incorporate some chat feedback into the show, but not really disrupt. Although Dupe's comment says he's still reeling from last week's damning 45-minute review of Persona 4 from me, which I don't even think I talked about Persona 4, did I?
That's probably what he's mentioning.
Okay.
Yeah, Tricky, you've never played a Persona game in your life.
You've never played an FPS in your life.
No, I actually
No, FPS, an RPG.
I did try to play Persona 4 Golden on the Vita, but oh, that's what it was. That's what he's talking about. 45 minutes into the game, and I still didn't do anything. That was my 45-minute review. That's what he's talking about. So there you go. All right. So yes, we're gonna try to do this live on Twitch. We'll try to update the stream a little bit more because right now it's not exactly the way I wanted it to look, but growing pains, technical difficulties.
You would think that more thought would be put into this. At least
I kind of dig the 4 Skype windows. It's
well,
like, shh.
Well, here's the thing: is the Windows actually, if anybody's looking at it, it's broken down into 4 windows. Obviously, it was supposed to represent the 4 of us. I can't turn on my Skype camera inside Skype because XSplit is using that, so it says I can't turn on the camera, so I can't turn on my camera. And I knew the 3 of you guys were not going to turn on your cameras, but I was hoping that it would at least have like your Skype image up there. But no, it just has a generic Skype image. So I'm going to have to go in and find pictures to replace you guys until we do the live shows. Not the live shows, but the monumental shows. So it doesn't look the way I want it to. Plus, I want to get a nice overlay, make it look nice. Probably put an Extra Life logo up there or something. Make it look nice. But growing pains, we're doing what we got to do. So Rick says he's going to turn on his camera next time he's on. Thank you, Rick.
Look, I'm just worried if I turn on my camera that my computer's going to freeze and I'm going to have to restart 10,000 times to get to work.
That. All right. So, before we get into the show proper, Gareth has updated some stats from last week. You guys remember last week we did the ultra rares and stuff like that. I had him go back and add Sid's trophies into the mix because Sid is a host on the show. So, quick thing. Sid actually has no ultra rare platinums. He has 16. Hold on. I messed up the label here. He has 16 very rares, which counts for 5.5%. He has 44 rares, which counts for 15.2%. He has 52 uncommons, which adds 18%, and he has 176 commons, which adds up to 61%. So he has no ultra rares.
But he's still number 1 in our hearts.
Yes. Now, I have a surprise for you, gentlemen.
These are never good.
Yeah. Remember last week while we were doing the stats, we asked, we were curious about what our hardest platinums we got were, according to the community. Well, Gareth has gone in and given us our hardest platinums, anything above a 7/10 difficulty rating. I did not say.
So wait, did he just find the one hardest one for each of us, or did he actually go and account for everything that's above that?
Everything that's above that. So, I'm gonna ask you some questions because Yield this week I didn't send it to you so you could see it before I actually revealed it on the show. So I have a question for you guys. There is one platinum that has a 8/10 rating that we all have. You want to take a guess of what it is?
No.
You know, I'm trying to think here because when it comes to crossover between all of us, it tends to be the Sony like first party titles. But I can't think of a Sony first party title that's had a very, very hard platinum trophy. I mean, The Last of Us is one of my ultra rares, but I don't know how hard it's considered to be, and Yield and Tricky don't have that, so
When we're not talking about rare, we're talking about difficulty ratings.
yeah, I know, but I'm trying to think that's what I'm saying. Most of our crossovers with those games, and none of them are really that hard in difficulty, so yeah, I don't know.
All right. And Yield, you said you don't even want to try to guess?
Correct.
All right. So, Alex, I will give you a clue. It is a Sony first-party title. And your second clue is it is actually a sequel. It's not the first game in the series. It's the sequel.
Well, Yield hasn't played The Last of Us. He hasn't played any God of War games. Horizon Forbidden West isn't that hard. It's not an 8. And, well, we all played that. And we all got the platinum. Infamous isn't that hard. I don't know. I have no idea.
All right.
You said it's a number 2 in the series?
It's number 2 in the series, and it's a Sony first-party title.
All right, I got nothing.
All right, so I will just tell you, it is Uncharted 2.
That's an 8?
8.
That's an 8 out of 10.
I mean, I'm not saying crushing is a walk in the park, but
It's
I
not
felt
that
like
hard.
Yeah, I felt like 2 was easier than the first game to platinum because crushing on the first game was extremely difficult, especially in certain places. But I thought that they kind of like ironed some of that stuff out in the sequel. But yeah, I don't remember it being that hard. But
I definitely feel that rating, and I don't know how it's rating, so I'm just talking out my ass here. But I honestly feel that part of that may be because of the how frustrating a lot of people found the final boss fight against Lazarevich. A lot of people may have just been like, nope, and noped out, because I know that always comes up on like terrible boss fights. I didn't think it was that bad. It's just because I'm a huge fanboy of the game. But yeah, I think that might play something into it. I would imagine, because that does get a lot of vitriol.
All right, so some comments from the things. Dupes is saying that none of those games are close to an 8, 3 to 4 max. And Rick says all the Uncharted are easy. What the heck was that?
Something that I clicked on and it was being loud.
All right, so let's go through these let's go through these stats real quick. Garrett actually has again, all these games only qualify if they're 7 out of 10. Garrett has 2. He has a 10 out of 10, which is Fall Guys. But he did say that he doesn't really count that one because he kind of used the glitch before they patched it to make it a 10 out of 10. So he doesn't really count that one. And the Golf Club 2, which is the 8 out of 10. So he only has 2 games with above a 7 out of 10 difficulty. I come in next place at, I tied with him. I only have 2 games that are 7 out of 10, which is Little Big Planet 2 and Uncharted 2. Alex, are you ready for your list of 7 out of 10 difficulties or higher?
yes, I'm very interested.
Little Big Planet Carton, which is a 7 out of 10.
I wouldn't have thought that, especially with how cutesy Little Big Planet is.
Crash Bandicoot, which is a 7 out of 10. Cuphead, which is an 8 out of 10.
Ooh,
Damn
props
straight
on
it is.
that one.
Bastion
Props on that one.
Bastion is a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Rayman Origins, which is an 8 out of 10.
Woo!
And Uncharted 2, which is an 8 out of 10.
Streets of Rage 4 should also be on there because that's an 8 out of 10. But wait, what website did he use?
I know he tried to use PSN profiles. And he did send me a message saying that some of them didn't have a rating, so he went to another site, which I don't remember which one it was.
Okay.
Yield.
So that was a total of what, 5 or 6 for me?
Yep. Yield, you are up next. You have 7 games with a difficulty of 7 out of 10. Are you ready for your list, sir?
Sure.
You sound so excited. Baja Edge of Control, which is an 8 out of 10. Deadlight Director's Cut, which is a 7 out of 10. Split
That's
Second.
That's not a hard game.
It was a fun game though.
Yes, it was, but that's not a hard game. People just give up.
Split Second, which is a 7 out of 10.
Split Second those dev challenges are tough.
Duke Nukem Forever, which is a 7 out of 10.
No, nobody played it. That game's not. Well, the hard difficulty is kind of challenging.
Uncharted 4, which is a 7 out of 10.
Wait a minute, I have Uncharted 4.
Oh.
Did you count that for me?
I didn't do this list. Garrett's, there seems to be a problem with the list. Is he still in the chat? He's still.
Yeah, I have the Uncharted 4 Platinum.
All right, so maybe we'll have to go back and look at this, revisit this,
or just finish it, and it is what it is.
The next game on your list is Spec Ops: The Line, 7 out of 10, and Uncharted 2, which is an 8 out of 10. All right, and the last person on our list is Mr. Sid, who has 8 games, which has the most of all of us. He has the Uncharted 2, which is 8 out of 10. Demon Souls, which...
Why does it keep doing that?
Demon Souls, which is an 8 out of 10. Wow. Okay, so our listeners are not hearing this right now because they're on an ad break. But we're going to keep going. Dark Souls, 8 out of 10. Dead Space is a 9 out of 10.
Wait, I have Dead Space 2. That's another Platinum I have.
Okay, listen, I didn't do this list. Batman Arkham City. Do you have that one?
And so
No,
do
I
I.
don't.
Oh wait, Arkham City. No, I don't. I got Asylum.
Arkham City, which is a 7 out of 10. Dark Souls 3, which is a 7 out of 10. And Elden Ring, which is a 7 out of 10. So, there you go. 8 games. So, I was surprised that we all had the, well, not surprised that we all had the Platinum, but Uncharted 2 is coming out at an 8 out of 10. So
on PSN profiles, Bloodborne is estimated as 7, so I have Bloodborne as well. So,
okay, well, I'll have to get with Garrett because Garrett made this list. So,
no, we definitely appreciate Gareth for going through all this stuff because that's a lot of work that he didn't have to do.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but
It's just a shame he didn't do it right.
I don't want to sound like that, damn it. I'm sure I do, but damn it.
Alex just wants the credit for the games he got.
Yeah,
That's
and
fair.
I got a lot.
That's fair.
All right, so Gareth, we're gonna have to we have to go through and review this list at a later time because it seems to be some discrepancies because Alex wants it to credit.
By the way, special what's up to Gareth because we haven't actually played anything together in a hot minute, and so yeah, dude, long time no chat.
Well, you guys aren't doing Rocket League Thursdays anymore, right?
I know.
Maybe we'll have to get together on a Thursday night one time and all play.
Or just pick another night because playing with randoms online is miserable.
All right, so that is the list. I'm trying to find the agenda because I have like 15 things open. Here we go. All right, so let's do our updated trophy count. I am level... Okay, I was making sure that Yield actually put my numbers in right. I am level 683, total trophies of 16,752.
I put the numbers in that are available. Just because a website calls you a cheater does not mean that those numbers are incorrect.
372 platinums. Alex, what are you looking at?
I am level 459 with a total trophy count of 8,000. That's a nice round number right
That
there.
is. It's pretty.
Platinum count of 126 in 125 games. You know how I do, Tricky Mick.
Yield?
Well, let me bring it up.
Oh, no smart ass comment from you, Tricky Mick, because if that was me, you would have blasted me into orbit for it.
Level 476 with a trophy count of 8609 and 154 platinums.
Sid is level 603, total trophies of 12,710 with 288 platinums. And Riley.
Yes, level 410 with 6,921 trophies and 45 platinums. My baby 45 platinums.
Do you have any shameful platinums in there?
I don't think so. I mean, there are some like Saw that I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, check this out. But it was a legitimately fun game. I don't have any of what y'all refer to as rat plats, because I stopped trophy hunting for the longest time because it was interfering with my enjoyment of actually gaming. So,
Right,
Amen.
So you don't have any Hannah Montana, Terminator
No.
Salvation.
only in my porn folder.
I just don't know how to respond to that. All right,
Well.
so coming from the
And
chat.
thank you for sending it to me.
Oh,
by the way.
Nope. You're not supposed to say that out of public. Garrett says he knows why he missed Bloodborne. He only looked through the ultra, very and rare categories. He said he didn't think a platinum uncommon would have a difficulty of 7 out of 10, and that's where Bloodborne falls. So, that's why he missed Bloodborne. But Gareth, apparently you missed a couple others that were on Yield's list. What was it, Dead Space 2?
No,
No,
I didn't have. No.
No, none of us have Dead Space 2. Donnie has Dead Space 2. I only have the first Dead Space.
Oh, you have Dead Space.
Yeah.
When I was going through the list, I thought you said you have... When you said I have Dead Space 2, I thought you meant Dead Space 2, because that's what Yield has.
No, comma, TOO. And also,
he
like I
doesn't.
said,
No, he doesn't what?
Have Dead Space 2.
Okay,
I don't have Dead Space 2.
we're going through confusing conversations here. According to your list, you do.
No, I don't. Never played Dead Space.
Hold on. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was... That's my apologies. That was Sid that had that. My apologies.
I was going to say I can vouch for that. I know you'll never play Dead Space.
Sid has Dead Space 2, the sequel.
which is nuts because that's the game with the hard to the core trophy where you have to play the game on the hardest difficulty and you only have 3 saves for the entire game.
Okay, so apparently Dead Space doesn't qualify as a 7 out of 10 then.
Wait, what? The original Dead Space doesn't qualify?
I don't know. You're saying you have it, and I don't know.
But you just said it was a 7 out of 10.
Boy, we sure made this harder than what it needed to be.
It started out to be that way, Yield.
Just read the list and move on.
The list is red. We're moving on.
You keep trying to interact all this other stuff, and it just keeps getting more confusing.
All right.
Thank you, Gareth, for putting this list together. I am sorry that Tricky made this 10 times more harder than what it needed to be.
Garrett says Dead Space is a 5 out of 10.
All right, there you go.
All right, moving on. What we played? Yield, we'll start with what you're playing, sir.
So I've been playing Rayman Legends. I'm down to just having to collect my last level of awesomeness and my looms. World of Warship Legends, Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, some Farm Simulator 19, some Rocket League, and I think that might be it.
All right, Riley.
I've been kind of still chipping away at Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga.
That is a grind.
It is. I mean, I'm taking it little bit by little bit and just enjoying it, and I'm having an absolute blast with it. I was playing the heck out of the Evil Dead the game, which I still have a ton of fun with that. Which generally that's not like my type of jam, but I am an Evil Dead fan. But the game is so much fun. Outside of that, I've been playing a little bit of Rocket League, kind of dabbling with the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. I started the Siphon Filter, reboot, remake, remaster. Played a little bit of that, and then just a little bit of Deep Rock Galactic here and there with Nitro and Yield.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Although it's been a minute.
All right. Alex, what have you been playing, sir?
I, like Yield, have also been playing some Rocket League, and yeah, that game is extremely frustrating to play with randoms, but, you know, since we don't have our regular streams anymore on Thursday, those got busted up. I've been, we have the new season coming out, and I'm trying to play a little bit every day to get some of the higher tiers, to get some of because they got 2 gold explosions this season, and they both look really cool. So I want some of the recolors of those, particularly a Cobalt Phoenix. I think that'd be really cool. But yeah, right now they got the birthday celebration going on, and they're giving out, instead of, for all the tasks they have you do, instead of, giving you a reward like an item or something for your car, they're giving you credits, which is a nice little thing to switch it up. Because otherwise, they've given you, birthday cake topper, or like all this other birthday stuff, which is like, I can do without that. That's general. That's kind of, that's not really stuff I want to put in my car. So the fact that they're giving out credits, which actually helped me buy my first black market blueprint, I got the airstrike gold explosion for 2,000 credits using only credits earned within game, no money. So I'm happy about that. Got way too many of those black market credits, so I was glad that I was able to cash in one. But yeah, just kind of drumming away at Rocket League, not enjoying it nearly as much with the randoms, but you do what you got to do. Been playing Hot Wheels Unleashed, and most of my time again has been with Assassin's Creed Origins. I did a stream last week, this past Thursday, and Nitro joined me for that. Thank you, Nitro, for giving me all the tips and tricks, because Nitro apparently tried to platinum that, Valhalla, and Odyssey all in the same year, which, considering he spent, I think he said, over 300 hours in one of them, is that's a lot. And I even though I'm having fun with the game, like, one of my biggest gripes with these Assassin's Creed games is that, yeah, they have this huge open world, the sandbox to play in, and maybe this is a more general thing with open world games, but they're creating these giant maps, these game makers, but then also they're like, okay, well, we got to fill this area with stuff to do, and a lot of it gets old. Like, there's a lot of fat you can trim off these games. It feels kind of bloated with some of the stuff to do. So, like, Horizon in particular, like, I felt like almost all of the missions were, like, meaningful, and they were fun, and they, I didn't get tired of doing them. At a certain point in that game, it's like, man, this game is a long, long game. As much as I enjoy it, I'm just kind of feeling the crushing weight of how long this game is. But with Assassin's Creed, I'm getting that sooner, and it just feels like this game is, the map is just filled with a bunch of stuff that's just kind of getting old to do. As much as I love running around Ancient Egypt, I think this game could have been 20 fewer hours and still just as good, maybe even better than just having me do a bunch of stuff in the middle. So I do feel like this is probably my only foray into Assassin's Creed, simply because it feels like Ubisoft has these giant maps that just put a bunch of stuff into to make you pump up the hours. So, and again, I hate leaving the Animus. Every time they pull me out, I'm just like, why am I doing this? This is dumb. They pull me out of the Animus, I'm out of it for like 5 minutes, and it's like, this is meaningless. This is ridiculous. Just put me back into Ancient Egypt and let me play in Ancient Egypt. So yeah, I'm still waiting for Layla and Abstergo and all that Animus stuff to mean something. Hasn't yet. I'm in 45 hours in probably, and it hasn't yet, so not really holding out much hope. So, fun game. They could definitely trim a lot of the fat off of it, but hearing how much Nitro has had to play the games that followed it, I don't have hopes that Ubisoft is going to trim these games down at all. So, but like I said, maybe it's just an issue of how big world maps have become, and the fact that they can't leave them barren. They have to stuff something in there. So, yeah, that's what I've been up to.
All right, and the only thing I played all week is The Division 2. Working through Season 9 right now. There's 4 more weeks, and then hopefully we'll get Season 10. Some cool things that with the game is they just announced that they're going to put Legendary difficulty, which is the hardest difficulty, on 2 more missions, so that's going to be a nice thing to go through. Really enjoying my time with Division 2. So if you want to play or have me boost you guys through, get to the good parts of the game, let me know, and I will gladly get you through that because I'm re-addicted to that game. Alright, so let's get into our topics. Now, we don't have a lot of really conversational topics, unfortunately, this week because there's just really no news. The first thing we're going to talk about is a game that Yield is on a wait and see right now. Skull and Bones has a release date. This is coming from IGN and is written by Matt Kim. After much anticipation, Ubisoft announced that Skull and Bones will be released on November 8th for the PS5, Xbox Series S, X, Stadia, and PC via the Epic Games Store and Ubisoft Store. Skull and Bones was officially announced in 2017, and through began development years before that. Based on the naval combat in Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, Skull and Bones faced numerous delays, missing its initial 2018 release window, and every year after that. In Skull and Bones, players will captain their own pirate ships, accept contracts, gather resources, and sail the high seas while attacking merchant ships for loot. Different choices will influence a player's journey, while going up in the pirate ranks will open up new customization for your ships. Set during the second golden age of piracy, players can also team up with 2 friends and enable PvP to face opponents in the open waters. You could check out the new gameplay trailer that was released. Ubisoft is promising a robust multi-year post-launch roadmap with regular updates, new content, activities, stories, and challenges, all for free. Alongside the previously announced consoles, Skull and Bones will be available on Ubisoft Plus on PC, Stadia, and Amazon Luma. The premium edition will include the Ballad of Bloody Bones collection, which features several cosmetic items for captains and ships, as well as 2 extra missions, digital art book and soundtrack, and a Smuggler's Pass token. It goes on, but Yield, let's get your thoughts. Did you watch the official trailer or the gameplay trailer?
I did.
And your thoughts, because I know you were worried about it being a Fortnite-like type thing.
Well, it's because that's exactly what they said.
Yeah, exactly. So, now that you see the gameplay, what do you think?
I'm still on a wait and see. I did sign up to see if I could get the early access to play it, to try it out, to test, but I'm still kind of a wait and see. It looks cool. I think some of the weapons are a little over the top. The Greek fire and the mortars. But the idea that you can do the game solo, or you can do it co-op, or you can PvP or all that, I like those options. Although their live stream of it almost made it seem like that people could still mess with you. And I don't really like that, because if I'm playing solo, I don't want to have to worry about, oh, here's these random people over there. They're duking it out. Now they're going to come over and they want to fight me. If you want to incorporate that, I'll do it with AIs. I just don't want random people doing that, because I, for the most part, hate online play because people are jerks.
All right. I mean, according to the article, it says you have to enable PvP. So I don't know if this is a thing.
I don't know. Their live stream, two guys went and did a battle, and then other people were showing up.
I mean, I wonder if it's almost like a Watch Dogs type deal. I haven't looked too much into it. I've been on their list thing for the trial since it was announced, but I'm kind of wondering, because like with Watch Dogs, wasn't that how it was? Like, you could choose whether or not to allow world invasions from other players.
Yes, and the way I look at it is like the Dark Zone and the Division 2. Like, you have your PvE environment, but once you cross this wall, it's open game. That's the way I look at it.
I'm just telling you with what I saw in their live stream.
I get you, and I'm with you, but I'm saying.
So until it's explained more, or I get to mess with it, I'm still kind of in a wait and see.
All right, Alex, your thoughts on Skull and Bones?
Never really been interested in it, and I like because a lot of people really enjoyed the naval combat from Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and that's kind of what Skull and Bones came from. And, they brought some of that maritime combat into Assassin's Creed Origins, which definitely helps break things up, and it is fun, so I do enjoy it. But for me, it's like, I like it as part of a bigger game, and I don't know if an entire game built around that would be as fun for me. So, I mean, I've just never been. I like pirates. It's like, pirate theming is always really cool, but an entire game built around like ships. I mean, Yield loves World of Warships, so that's kind of right up his alley. For me, it's better as part of a game rather than an entire game built around it. So,
and Riley,
I just haven't been paying attention to it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm kind of in a weird zone. Like, I'm very much wait and see, but I do agree with Alex that I absolutely loved Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I loved the naval battles and everything. It was a blast. And so when they announced they were doing a game based on that, I was like, yeah. But since then, given my experience with Ubisoft's multiplayer stuff over the years and their ability to hold a narrative where they're not popping you out of an animus, and on something like this, I don't know how well it's going to hold my interest. Like with World of Warships, I couldn't put as much time into it as Yield does, because I need some sort of a more story thing. I mean, unless we get a group of people together to play it. But I don't know. I'm still interested in it. I'm not passing on it yet. I'm very interested to see what they do because I love, where it came from. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see for sure. But definitely keeping an eye on it.
See, I loved Black Flag as well, but to me, when you sail in a game, and I can tell you exactly where my hatred started for this, which was Zelda Wind Waker, when you were just in the boat for like endless amount of time.
So you agree that there's too much water?
Yes.
Oh man, that was some of the best parts of the game.
To me, like, I don't know how to say this without it sounding like really messed up, but it just when you're sailing, it just seems like it slows the content down so much because you don't really feel like you're moving that fast. So it's the speed of the combat inside of what Black Flag was that really drawn me off of the naval combat of it. That's why I never tried like World of Warships because I just think the gameplay is just too slow for me. Like the battle should be a little quicker. Does that make sense?
So you have to think.
No, I mean I'm gonna be unpopular. And actually agree with Tricky. I totally understand where you're coming from with the. I mean, yeah, there's especially with Black. I remember when I played through Black Flag, and you're sailing from one port to the next. It was like grand and glorious, and had the sense of wow, this is really freaking cool. And then you would get in battles. But I totally get what you're saying about not really having that much speed, and not that it's almost like, oh, you're kind of sitting through an interactive loading screen when you're A to B. Because I kind of feel the same way in Valhalla. Like I really enjoyed the longboat stuff, but then I'm like, oh Jesus, can I just fast travel or run? So I totally get what you're saying there. And I guess maybe that's part of my hesitation too. It's like, are they going to be able to make it into something that's worth a whole game? I mean, that's because like I've watched a lot of people play like Sea of Thieves, and I find it very interesting. I don't think that it's something that I would want to play. I mean, I would try it, but I'm not something I'm going to like be putting hours and hours into. But every now and again, you'll get something that comes along that is definitely not something that I would put hours and hours into, that I end up just dumping a ton of time in. Case in point, Deep Rock Galactic. If 2 years ago you had told me, yeah, you're going to be playing as a dwarf and you're mining on an alien planet and killing spider bugs, and then you go back and you can drink in between missions, I would have been like, you're out your damn mind. But I mean, every now and again you get something that really grabs you unexpectedly. I hope that Skull and Bones grabs me the way that Black Flag did. I hope that they knock it out of the park, and can balance that high tension battles and the epicness of that feeling of sailing, and that it doesn't get old. But I totally see what you're saying, and I can totally. That's a lot of my hesitation is this something that can be sustained into a game that I want to put 20, 40, 60, 80 plus hours into, playing the game and then playing multiplayer. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm hesitant.
Like I said, it's just the speed of the combat is what kind of draws me off. And I know I'm probably in the minority with that. But that's what to me was always said. Like I want to try Skull and Bones. Like I don't hate it. It just with like when you're playing Assassin's Creed, like there's a flow to the assassinations. There's a flow to the fight, and then you get into the boats, and it's like everything just slows down. And don't get me wrong, the sea shanties are nice. I've actually started adding some sea shanties to my Spotify playlist. But shout out to Rick who posted something a while back about rock pirate songs, and I'm like addicted to that now. I couldn't even tell you the band. All I can tell you is the name of the song is Party, Party. Go check that out. All right. So,
before we move on, I just want to say that probably maybe one of the more interesting things to see when this game comes out. You figure most big games,
Hailstorm,
is that are coming out are probably going to be available on Game Pass, and with Sea of Thieves being a Microsoft-owned thing because it's Rare, I wonder how well this takes on the Xbox or even the PC. Like, is this going to supplant Sea of Thieves? Can people play both of them? Or is the audience for Sea of Thieves just going to be like, yeah, we already have our game, leave us alone?
all right.
Or will it stand as like a Sea of Thieves 2 or something like that for people? It's like, okay, well, I've had my one pirate game, and now I'm going to jump to this one.
I just lost. There we go. I lost the chat. I got it back now. All right, so the next thing we're going to go into, yes, Rick, it's Ailstorm. Go check out that song. The next bit of news we have is God of War Ragnarok officially has a release date. It is going to be in November, and it is going to be November 9th, which is the day after Skull and Bones comes out, which I said they're sending Skull and Bones out to die.
I knew you were going to talk about that.
What? That's the day after?
You were going to bring that up.
Well, I think it's a bad release date.
It was doomed to be bad when it took 4 years to develop, and they quit talking about it until this year. It doesn't matter when it comes out. Yes, it doesn't going to help that it's next to God of War, but they doomed themselves.
Well, also, I mean, these games, like, there may be some crossover, but I feel like people who want to play both will play both, but also at the same time, I just feel like these games scratch two different itches. So, it's not like people who, like, everyone who was going to play Sea of Thieves because they want to play like a pirate game set on the sea, or are going to be like, with PvP and stuff like that. They're going to be like, oh no, we can't play this now because of God of War. Like, I don't really think there's going to be a ton of that. I think the game is either going to be hurt by the fact they changed up the gameplay, or like Yield said, it took so long for them to get it out. I don't necessarily know that God of War, because games come out, in close relation all the time. It's not necessarily just because of that they get killed. It's, other factors as well.
Right. I feel like that some of the I totally agree with you, Alex. They scratch two different itches, but I think what especially Skull and Bones looks to run into being that close to God of War is the fact that God of War is going to generate X amount of buzz just first by sake of it being God of War. It could come out and be total ass, which I'm sure it won't, but it could come out total ass, and it's God of War. It's a big mind-moving title. It's it's going to grab attention. And so I think that might kind of shave off what could be some of the people who are maybe passingly interested in Skull and Bones and might be less likely to jump in and give it a try because like, oh well shit, God of War's coming out. I'm going to play that because I know what I'm going to get. And I mean, a lot of times, especially with multiplayer focused, people are less likely to kind of jump on after the fact. You know what I'm saying? There's the initial, oh wow, as it comes out. And then, so I'm thinking I feel like that could hurt Skull and Bones to a point, but you're absolutely right. They're two completely different itches, but I feel like some of that overlap is going to be absorbed by God of War.
But also, like, when you talk about people's passive interest in games, you know what that means these days? Well, I'm going to wait till it's on sale, or I'm going to wait till it comes to Game Pass or to PlayStation Plus. Like,
right.
Passive interest is, especially, with the cost of everything going up, people having to pay more for gas just to get to work. Passive interest in games, especially, because we're so used to all these discounts and so many sales and a system like Game Pass, passive interest in a game is essentially, I'm going to wait on this until I can, until it's more of a price that I'm comfortable with for a game that I may or may not like. So,
Right.
And the other thing, I do want to note that on Twitter, I joked that God of War got Starfield trending again, because as soon as everyone started posting about God of War, all the Xbox owners were like, Starfield, we still have a game to play too. Like, it's literally like anytime people can't just let God of War be a thing and people be excited about God of War. Everyone who owns an Xbox has to mention Starfield. Great, you have Starfield to play. People on the PlayStation will have God of War to play. And if you wait long enough, you'll be able to play Ragnarok on PC, so you can play both of them on PC. It's great. So I find it funny that Starfield is trending again because the next big PlayStation game was announced with a release date.
Just let people enjoy things.
We can't do that.
No, we can't.
Rick in the chat says this is what's happening with the Callisto Protocol. Dead Space remake is coming out at the same time and is stealing its thunder. Mark my words, Callisto is going to be a banger. So. But getting back to the God of War news, it's coming. Like I said, it's coming out November 9th for the PS4 and PS5. Also, pre-orders will open on July 15th, which is going to be 2 days from the time you guys are hearing this. And there's 4 editions of the game. And we're going to go into the collector's edition right now, because Tricky is definitely going to try to get one of these. This is coming from IGN, written by Robert Anderson. God of War Ragnarok is officially launching in November, and we're also getting a brand new collector's edition, and even a premium Yohir collector's edition that will be available to pre-order. The collector's edition is...
You mean Jotner?
Is that Jotner?
Is it Jotnar?
Yes, it is.
I just assume that's how you pronounce it.
Okay.
But,
the collector's edition is set to include a slew of additional physical and digital items for buyers, alongside a 16-inch replica of the famous Mjolnir hammer. They're going to be going live on July 15th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, including the launch edition, digital deluxe edition, collector's edition, and the Jotnir. Not how you say it, Alex?
Jotner. I mean,
Jotner.
Anyone's welcome to correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds more correct than what you were saying.
It's possible. There is no confirmed price for the collector's edition yet, but everything included in the this is what's going to be in the special edition. It's going to be a printed voucher code for the full game, God of War Ragnarok, which means that if you buy the collector's edition, you're not getting a physical copy of the game, only a digital copy. I'm glad to see that. I'm glad that trend is still going.
I think that's absolutely dumb.
Okay, we'll get to that in a second. Okay, you're gonna get a steel bookcase. Of course, like I said, no game is going to be included.
It's so dumb.
2-inch veneer twin carvings in the same style that Atreus' wood carvings from the brothers in the first game. A dwarven dice set, a 16-inch Mjolnir replica, and you're going to get a bunch of themes, avatars, art books, soundtracks, and a bunch of stuff like that, stuff for the game. All right, so Yield, you're obviously voicing your opinion about no physical disc being in the in the collector's edition. You know that I've been vocal about saying how every time I buy a collector's edition, I have to turn around and sell the physical copy of the game because I buy all my games digitally. Obviously, you're still in the physical space. You haven't gotten digital yet. Why do you think this is so stupid?
Because if I'm dropping that kind of money, I want a physical copy. I don't want a digital copy. Give both.
Make both an option. One a physical copy, one a digital copy.
And one a digital copy. Yeah.
I mean, that's fair too.
Yeah.
Because
if you're dropping $250 on a
if you're dropping $250 or more on a collector's edition, then I want a physical game, especially if you're giving me a steel bookcase. Because that is just so dumb. Here's a steel bookcase, but you don't get a game. You open it up, you can put a disc in it, but not the disc for the game because we didn't give you the game. It's so ass backwards.
All right.
Tricky, I do have a question for you, sir.
Sure.
So when it comes to Sony first-party games, when was the last time that a game came out that you didn't buy the collector's edition for that said game? Because we know that you love these things.
I buy a lot of games that don't get the collector's edition.
Well, no, I'm talking about like the big Sony games, like your Horizons, your God of Wars, all of those.
I'm trying to think. 'Cause I do buy a lot of them. I did. No, I got the collector's edition The Last of Us 2. I got the collector's edition for God of War. I got the collector's edition for both Horizons.
Yeah, because you buy collector's editions for these Sony games like I buy pickles at the grocery store.
Yeah. I honestly don't remember.
When they weren't offered.
Probably, or I wasn't able to get one. Yeah, I honestly I don't remember. I pretty much get every one of them. No, I honestly I can't remember the last one time I bought
And
one.
what he means by every one of them, he'll get one of each kind. He'll get the collector's edition. He'll get the
No.
premium edition.
No,
he'll
I just get the most expensive one normally. Now, it is also worth noting that if you buy the PlayStation 4 version, you can upgrade to the PS5 version for $10. That's also in the article. So, all right.
Which is the thing going forward, that you're always going to have to do that going forward. And it was after Horizon that started. Yeah, so if you want to upgrade, you're going to pay the $10 extra to equal out the $70 that you would have paid for the PS5 edition.
All right, let's move on here to our next topic. Lollipop Chainsaw remake has been announced for 2023, and it's coming from the original producer. This is coming from IGN, written by Joe Scribbles. So yeah, Lollipop Chainsaw is being remade. I think this is a good thing. I wasn't really a fan of the game, but I know it was very popular among people. What do you guys think about Lollipop Chainsaw?
I think it's a batshit crazy game, and I didn't play it the first time, but I'd be willing to give it a go this time. Granted, there's not something else I would rather play. I don't know. Those over-the-top action games, kind of the brutality of them, like Mad World and all that kind of stuff. I'm into them, but for some reason, this game was not as at the top of my list as other games like that had been.
Okay, well, apparently there was an update to this article before I let Yield and Riley talk. Apparently, the co-creators, Suda51 and James Gunn, have both confirmed they are not a part of the upcoming remake. On Twitter, Gunn said, "I heard about it for the first time from Suda a couple weeks ago." Suda followed up by saying, "Neither Gunn nor am I involved in the project at all, and Suda's developer, Grasshopper Manufacturer, has nothing to do with development or anything." So yeah. Gunn later tweeted that he neither endorses nor condemns the project, but wanted to make clear who is and who isn't involved. So apparently the two people that created the game are not involved. So,
well, I mean, it's just a remake, isn't it? So it's not like they necessarily need to be involved. But also at the same time, isn't Grasshopper working on No More Heroes 3? Isn't that kind of what they are doing, or at least one of their projects? I believe that's what they're doing. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to a remake, Team Ico, Sony Japan, Fumito Ueda was not involved with the PS4 remake of Shadow of the Colossus. That was Blue Point Games. So I mean, you don't always have to have. I don't know if they were, Ueda had any kind of oversight over the project, but a lot of times these kind of things are handed off to another studio so that other studios can focus on other things.
Look right now. No More Heroes 3 was slated for last year. It came out last year.
Oh, it did? Never mind then. I guess I wasn't paying enough attention.
All right. Yield or Riley, how do you feel about this game being remade?
I'm actually super pumped about it. I played the original back when it came out. I was working at GameStop, so I got to check it out for the weekend, take it home, play it, played through the campaign, and beat it, and it was an absolute blast. As with a lot of games while I was working at GameStop, I played through it, and then I never got around to actually picking it up, because I did want to go back and go for the Platinum Trophy on that to see the alternate endings and whatnot. But I was just right before they announced this, I was like, man, I should look and see if I can get a copy of Lollipop Chainsaw. So I was looking it up to see, because we had a discussion. I just picked up a few months ago a copy of Never Dead for the PS3, another obscure ass game. And but with Lollipop Chainsaw, it's going like for $75 to $150 online. So as
That's
to where
a little
like
insane.
as to where like Shadows of the Damned you can get, because I was looking that up as well because I do have a copy of that, and it's much more like you can probably score a copy for around $40, but I absolutely loved Lollipop Chainsaw. I thought it was super fun. It wasn't anything outstanding. It wasn't anything that changed gaming. It was just a super fun hack and slash, tongue in cheek, super fun game. It didn't take itself too seriously, and it was. So I'm super pumped because, like I said, I was just looking. I was like, man, I should see about getting a copy of that. Saw the prices and I'm like, nope. And then like the next week they announced that they're doing the remake, and I'm like, hell yes.
I will point out one positive of remakes, and that is, sometimes the original game comes out and the trophy list is kind of a bear, so maybe you don't get the platinum trophy. So maybe when they do the remake or the remaster, guess what? The trophy list eases up, and you can finally get that platinum trophy in the game that you've been wanting it in. Without the Shadow of Colossus 4 remake, I would have never gotten the platinum trophy in that game. Mm-hmm. So that is one good thing about remakes, is they can always change the trophy list. And also, Riley mentioned Shadows of the Damned. Another game I have the platinum in, not to be a douche and brag about it, but I totally am. But also a really fun game. That was a really cool game.
All right, Rick says Lollipop Chainsaw, it's fantastic. And he also says PS1, PS2 classics are really crazy right now. They go up every month. I will also note that Lollipop Chainsaw has probably one of the most shameful trophies in existence.
Oh, you're right. And I got it by accident. It sounds like I got it by accident.
Sure, you got it by accident.
I was noodling around with the controller and getting my bearings, and all of a sudden it just popped, and I'm like, what the okay. I mean, I probably would have done that anyways, but I wasn't. When the trophy popped, I wasn't trying for it.
Right, Rick. The trophy was looking up her skirt. Sure, you got that by accident. All right.
What developers what should we do for trophies? Oh yeah, let's do this.
And it's like, what, I forget what the name of the trophy is. I don't know if anybody in chat, but it's like something like you perv or something. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Apparently Dupes says there's a trophy in Nier Automata for the same thing. And Rick says no one got that by accident, you pervert. All right, moving on. Ubisoft is shutting down multiplayer and online servers for 15 games in September. This is coming from Adam Bankhurst over at IGN. Ubisoft is set down to shut down multiplayer and online servers for 15 games on September 1st, including 5 Assassin's Creed games, Far Cry 3, Splinter Cell Blacklist, Prince of Persia, The Forgotten Sands, and more. To just give you the list of all the games, it's Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed 3, the 2012 release, Assassin's Creed Brotherlines, Assassin's Creed Liberation HD, Assassin's Creed Revelations, Driver San Francisco, Far Cry 3, the 2012 release, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Future Soldier, Prince of Persia, The Forgotten Sands, Rayman Legends, Silent Hunter 5, Space Junkies, Splinter Cell Blacklist, and Zombie U. So, if you are looking to get the platinum in those games that require online trophies, you might want to do that before September 1st. Okay. Moving on.
I didn't even know. I wouldn't have even assumed that Assassin's Creed 2 still had the servers up, but that's it's kind of incredible because that's one of the last Assassin's Creed games. I mean, I played Brotherhood, but to think that it's been 10 years since I played an Assassin's Creed game and one of them is still got the servers open is nuts.
All right.
And also to that point, beyond just the trophies, if you're sitting and you're like, oh yeah, I was gonna pick up some DLC for one of the, get it now because come September 1st you will not be able to purchase it anymore. It will be gone from the stores.
Speaking of Ubisoft, coming from Matt Kim over at IGN, Ubisoft has been quiet this summer, but the company plans to return to the spotlight when it debuts a Skull and Bones Ubisoft Forward in July, which we already had, followed by another showcase in September with new reveals and updates on several games its studios have been working on. In a blog post, Ubisoft announced that on July 7th, there will be a Skull and Bones Spotlight, which we already talked about. Then on September 10th at 12 p.m. Pacific Time, 3% Eastern, a new Ubisoft Forward returns in full force to reveal updates on news on multiple games and projects from the Ubisoft teams around the world. So, yeah, look forward to that.
I wish they would just come out and say, no, we're not going to talk about Beyond Good and Evil 2. Everyone who, wants that game, every time something like this comes up, they're like, oh, maybe they're going to do it now. And then, just like a little limp fart, it never happens.
While Ubisoft has been ramping up the launch of Skull and Bones, we know there's still several franchises and games we haven't heard from in a while, including Assassin's Creed. The latest reports suggest Ubisoft is working on a live service evolving Assassin's Creed game. There are also other franchises like Far Cry, Watch Dogs, Rainbow Six, and more that we could potentially hear from at the event, as well as the delayed again Prince of Persia remake. Ubisoft already revealed that the next Mario plus Rabbids at the latest Nintendo Direct. All right. That is that for that. Moving on.
Sounds like Ubisoft's doing a whole lot of nothing anybody cares about.
I love that the banner screenshot from that every Ubisoft game in development on that article has Sam Fisher's Splinter Cell, but they don't mention it
at all.
At all. It's like, yeah, don't tease me like that, Ubisoft.
All right. So I'm going to skip the last one because I think we've kind of beaten this dead horse. Apparently, one of the Last of Us remake developers has addressed the cash grab criticisms. And
because it is.
He basically just said that the amount of work that's being put into it's not a cash grab.
But it is. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of work. There's a lot of work being put into it. I agree with that. But why remake a game? I don't know. I just can't understand it because this is the third time you've remade the game, or second time you've remade the game.
Remakes. Because I want a remake of like Mega Man 3.
Okay, hold on. Let me pause you a second, Alex. I was gonna skip it, but if we're gonna go into the conversation, I might as well bring up the article. It's coming from Comic Book Gaming and written by Cade Onder, Onder. One of the biggest critiques in the upcoming remake of The Last of Us, aka The Last of Us Part 1, is that it feels like a cash grab. It's a $70 version of a game from 9 years ago that was remastered for the PS4 in 2014. The upcoming remake won't feature any substantially new content for the most part, and the story remains the same as far as Naughty Dog has disclosed, so in very simple terms, it's just a much, much prettier and enhanced version of a beloved game. That's not to discount the hard work that goes into it, but it definitely feels like the big price tag for this kind of remake. One of the developers credited on the game and Ben Studio animator Robert Morrison stated that The Last of Us Part 1 is not a cash grab and went on to discuss why he believes the project is more than what people are making it out to be. Morrison noted that Naughty Dog has poured a lot of care into this remake and has stated that it is the most meticulously built and crafted project he has ever worked on across his career. Quote, actually, it's the most meticulously built and crafted project I've ever seen or been a part of in my entire career. The highest level of care and attention to detail as possible. He also tweeted that exact same thing. As of right now, it remains to be seen how much it will justify the high price point for a remake of an already easily accessible title. The remake is likely to be made to cater to those who haven't played it, particularly people who may be interested in digging into it after watching the HBO adaptation of The Last of Us in 2023. Either way, no one is forced to buy the game at full price at launch. Anyone who has already experienced the game can wait if they really want to get their hands on the remake. That was the whole article, so please go give it a click. All right, Alex, I'm sorry I cut you off.
No, I mean, I think it coming alongside the television show is something that they want to do some kind of synergy there. But originally, they were going to release this for PC. It's kind of a trend they have where they're putting a lot of their big first-party games, albeit later than when they release on the console, they're putting them on PC. So they were making this for the PC, and they said that the version they wanted to make of this game, and I think it was Neil Druckmann, this is the version they wanted to make, but they had limitations previously on the PS3. So I don't really have a problem with the remake. Like I said, if they're going to put it on PC and it runs on the PS5, why not? I'm of the mind that if this is going to make Sony money that they can reinvest to make more games, I'm fine with it. But I will say that from a standpoint, like when it comes to remake and remasters, like I started to say that I want a Mega Man 3 remake in like Mega Man 11 art style. Like I think that'd be really cool. But at the same time, like when it comes to these type of games, for a lot of people, there's a time period. I don't think there's a necessarily like a hatred of them, but I do think that there needs to be a certain time period in between the original release and the remake or remaster before people feel like it's justified. So like if it's like 2 years down the road, people may be like, well, why are you doing this? This game just came out. Meanwhile, with something like Alan Wake, the game has, it's been like a decade or more since it came out. So maybe it's actually the right time to bring it out. So I think for a lot of people, there is that time period there that they need for it to feel justified. Why work on a newer game when you can bring back an older game or just work on a new game in general?
All right, some comments from the chat. Rick says, everything is a cash grab nowadays. Dupe says, you can't say this isn't a cash grab, but then Skyrim is when they release it over and over again. Dupes goes on to say, sure, it's published, it looks good, but it's still a cash grab. Rick says, Skyrim absolutely is, and we'll buy it every time they release it. And Dupes agrees. Rick says, spend $100 million on a new IP or re-release an old IP for $30 million. It's the same net profit. It's a no-brainer. So,
yeah, I mean, if you're the company and you can release it and make a lot of money off it, which Ghost of Tsushima, the director's cut, did very well for him, why wouldn't you? I mean, if people will buy it, why wouldn't you?
All right. Before we go into our topic of the week, you know what is coming.
Time to check my social media.
All right, so Riley, while I'm looking up the questions for you, we have to ask our guests, what do you guys think? What do you think of that soundbite?
What soundbite? I didn't hear anything.
I didn't hear a soundbite unless it's.
Oh, you guys didn't hear the soundbite?
No.
We haven't heard anything.
Yeah, we didn't hear the intro either.
So the silence, as a father of four, I'm always a fan of silence.
I wonder. Oh, I know why you guys didn't get, because I'm on the wrong camera. Oh, okay, it's a different microphone. Anyway, I'll play the soundbite for you, and I'll have.
It's like you've never done this before.
Well, no, because now I'm using the micro.
Is it the Lion King social media one?
Yes.
Yes.
It's all right. I listened to the episode that Tony was on a few weeks ago, and I heard it, and I don't hate it. I hear it a lot on Reels and on TikTok and and so I'm just like, it's whatever. It's a little played out.
You should.
So I don't hate it if that's but
you shouldn't have told Yoda comes from TikTok. Now he's gonna hate it.
I thought you hated it anyways.
Actually, it's not a surprise because Tricky can't find anything original on his own without going to TikTok.
Well, no, I found that. I heard that on TikTok. That was fine. Rick says #fuck Joe.
Ouch.
So the reason why you guys didn't hear it is because you guys listened to me on Skype, which Skype is using my camera microphone because I didn't want to split my podcast microphone through 3 different sources. That's why you guys didn't hear it. Which I'm gonna have to switch it back because I have to play Sid in a second. All right, so questions. Coming from Alex. Riley, this is directed towards you.
Okay.
And Ben, they're both from Ohio, so we have to get to the bottom of this great mystery.
Okay, so this is coming.
Ranch dressing.
This is coming to Riley and Yield. Alex wants to know, you guys, do you guys put like cinnamon in your chili?
No.
Skyline's okay for what it is.
No, it's not. No, and I will die on that hill. And this is something.
You're okay with it. I get in this argument with people in a Bengals Facebook chat that want to sing the praises of Skyline, and I'm like, it's all right.
I mean,
I'll eat there.
I didn't know that it was a thing. I thought I used to have a friend, we'd go to their house like after church on Sundays, and they would generally always make chili or chili spaghetti. And I just thought that they were shitty cooks. I didn't realize that it was like a Gold Star or Skyline recipe. I think it's awful. And I'm especially against it because the last time that I went to a Skyline, it was you and me and my wife.
All right.
Okay, in our first apartment after we had gotten married.
Wow, old school. All right.
That's the last time that I went to Skyline. Do you know why that's the last time I went to Skyline?
It probably blew you up.
That is the only time in my adult life that I have shit myself.
Wow.
We lived upstairs, and I did not make it up the stairs to the bathroom.
Yeah, it'll
Yeah,
light you
so
up.
that kind of soured me on the whole Skyline thing. But side note, I just don't care for cinnamon in my chili.
For anyone who, because we got a lot of listeners from across the pond who doesn't know why I asked this, it's because Skyline is like kind of centered. It was started in Cincinnati, so
Right.
it's this chili company that is famous for putting chili or cinnamon in their chili recipe.
Yes. So when they're chili dogs and the chili spaghetti, and a lot of people, it's very divisive. A lot of people absolutely love it. A lot of people are right and don't. But it's I feel like there's very very few people actually, and this is weird, that Ben is like a middle ground on that Yield is like a middle ground on anything, because he's generally not. He's very one side or the other. But yeah, most people, especially around here, especially in bumfuck Ohio, are very passionate about it. Like Skyline / Gold Star is the greatest thing since Betty White slicing bread.
Yeah.
And then there are the people
you're either for
intelligent.
Gold Star or you're for Skyline. There's no I like both.
And I mean, I hate them both in fair play, but yeah.
Well, I'd rather have chili dogs at home, but that's my opinion.
Well, I mean, I would too, because then that way I can make them myself without cinnamon and not shit my pants.
And if you have to shit, you're close to a bathroom.
This is true. I don't have to try to get out of the car, run up 3 flights of stairs, and down the hall to the bathroom. Yeah.
All right. So Rick says he's laughing his ass off right now, and fair play for confessing. And this question, I guess, is coming from Dupes for all of us, considering we got on the topic now. Dupes wants to know, when's the last time you shit yourself?
When I was in diapers.
After Yield and my wife and I went to Skyline, 20 years ago?
Alex?
Honestly, I've had the good fortune of being able to make it to the bathroom as an adult, so I can't remember the last time. Although I will tell you, the last real scare I had, there are just some foods that just run right through you. I think we had been out at a restaurant. I can't remember where it was, but we came home and, I thought it was okay. So, we got home. Our dog needs to go to the bathroom. So I took Athena out for a walk, and halfway through the walk, I'm like, oh no, we're in the danger zone, folks. I'm about to shit myself on this walk. So I had to try to get Athena to hurry home so I did not just poop all over myself. So I made it, but that was a definite scare where I thought that I could make it through an entire walk, and halfway through it was the red Tricky's Rangers goal alarm was going off in my head. Like, oh Jesus, airlift me home to the toilet, because otherwise this is gonna be rough.
I was sweating bullets to not drop it in in Yield's truck all the way back. And yeah,
I appreciate that.
The thing is, I made it all the way down the hallway. I was almost there, but yeah, alas.
All right. Well, if you guys listen to Loop Brothers, you know the last time that I had a close call. I cannot say it again on this show because I nearly got in real trouble at work about it. But if you want to hear that story, go listen to that. I can't tell you the last time I shit myself, but I can tell you there are a lot of close calls because I work for sanitation, and a lot of times I'm driving a truck from point A to point B, and there's not a lot of places to stop. So
if Jeff Bezos is making you pee in a bottle,
it's one of those things where it's like I leave the garage with the truck, and I just get on the Jersey Turnpike or just get into the Holland Tunnel, and it's like, oh shit, I gotta go. And you're desperate to find places, so I've made deals with certain vendors along the way saying, hey, listen, if I come in, it's an emergency situation, I gotta go. So I can't tell you the last time I shit myself, but there's been a lot of close calls. And Rick's saying in the chat the story I'm telling again, but I can't tell that because somebody from my job heard the story, and I got in real trouble for it. So
I don't know how you could get in trouble for almost shitting yourself.
It's
I mean, unless you're a neurosurgeon, that would probably be bad.
I'll tell you after we're done recording because I can't do this on the show.
I was gonna guess the last time you shit yourself was when you saw a full-scale model of Harley Quinn.
No, that
decided that you needed that for your house, and you were so excited that you pooped yourself like an old man at a nursing home.
No, I'm gonna stop there. I'm not gonna finish that statement. So on top of all that, Ashley, Alex's Ashley wants to know, what about noodles? Do you like cinnamon in your noodles?
What?
I love how we've sandwiched the skyline, like the chili
Skyline.
and noodles talk in between. Like in the middle of that was like a shit sandwich, literally.
Yeah, which is pretty much what it's like eating at Skyline.
Oh, before you answer, you know how
Yes.
I know what you're talking about when you say Skyline is because there was a Ron White bit about how he was he showed up to town and they were apparently it was the cook-off, like the statewide cook-off.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason I know when you say Skyline that there's actually a place called Skyline Chili in
Skyline Chili. Yes, there's
That-
also Gold Star, but they're both equally.
All right, so cinnamon
Wow.
in your noodles.
So I'm not really a fan of cinnamon in anything.
Didn't she mean noodles and chili? Isn't that what she's going for with that question?
Oh, I don't know. She just said, "What about noodles?" I just assumed it was cinnamon in the noodles.
No one puts cinnamon on noodles.
Okay,
I'm
so
sorry
what
for
about
our-
chili in
for-
noodles
if-
then?
If we have a listener that puts cinnamon on their noodles, I hope that I didn't just offend you, but I think it was more because Steak and Shake and Skyline, they will have noodles in their chili.
Okay, so I guess we're
Yes.
talking about chili in your noodles or noodles within your chili. I'm sorry.
So if we're factoring if we're factoring cinnamon out of the equation, then yeah, I can get down on some chili spaghetti. Absolutely. It's been a minute, but that actually sounds pretty good. I might have to make some this week.
All right, Yield.
I'll eat noodles in my chili at Skyline, but that's it.
All right. I just want to welcome Caneless to the chat. He's just popped in saying, "I love noodles." All right. So, question
love
from
you.
Rick on Facebook says, worst game you've ever played for more than an hour. What made it so bad? I realize that the played over an hour stipulation will make Tricky have to really think hard as he's played a lot of shit for 15 minutes or less platinums.
Man, let's see, which Metal Gear Solid game am I gonna pick for this one?
I hate you.
Probably the second one. I kept falling asleep during it.
Riley,
Yeah, I
do you
remember
have-
all the hype surrounding that game, and it also did seem like it let a lot of people down. Like, I'm not trying to be a prick about this. Like, I know that
45-minute cutscenes.
Sons of Liberty had a lot of people excited for obvious reasons. It was a sequel to one of the biggest PlayStation games of all time. But then, you had a lot of people that loved it. But then there was also a lot of people that were like, man, this was overhyped to the moon.
Sons of Liberty got a lot of hate because you didn't play as Snake, you played as Raiden, so to be fair there. Dupe says if I say Persona 4, he's out. Alright, so Riley, do you have a game that you played for over an hour that was bad?
That I played for over an hour that was bad. Yeah, I'm sure. Let me look over here at my shelf.
Okay, why are you looking?
Yes, Damnation.
Damnation.
Damnation. It was one that I had. It was back when I was working at GameStop. It was a very obscure PS3 game. I don't know if it was like some sort of cyberpunk western. I don't really remember. What I do remember is that I had checked it out to play it. We could play it, check it out over the weekend. I played a couple hours of it because I'm like, well, it's free. It's not costing me anything. It's not great. And then my PS3 died with the disc in it. So I had to buy the son of a bitch and send my system off. Never did get the game back. So somewhere around here, I probably still have the case with the box art of Damnation. But yeah, that one definitely ranks up there because it was not good.
It broke your
And
system.
it cost me like $35 for a game that I would not have spent $5 on. Free was the right price for Damnation.
Alright, Yield, do you have an answer?
No, I do not. I really can't think of. I mean, I'm sure there is one, but I can't think of one off the top of my head that I've played that I was like, man, this
this was an absolute waste of time.
It's tough because usually if it's complete ass, I will dip way before an hour.
Yeah.
And if I play it for more than an hour, I am usually in a groove to where I'm enjoying it. I guess Fallout 3, I know we're going to get some hate for this, probably, but Fallout 3 also, I just could not get into it, and I know it picks up after whatever, but I restarted that game several times, and I just could not. So, not as bad as Damnation. Not as bad as Damnation.
All right, Alex, do you have a different answer other than Metal Gear Solid 2?
Well, I guess you can't accept my real answer there.
Oh, no, I didn't know if that was your real answer.
No. I will fully admit the Metal Gear Solid games are not for me. I just can't get behind that kind of stealth. And it's funny, Tricky, you talk about the slow plotting action, but then you love Metal Gear Solid, which arguably has some of the slowest action I've ever played in a game. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's not for me. But EA's NFL Blitz that came out within the last 10 years, I want to say. I played it for a little bit. I mean, I grew up with NHL Hits, NFL Blitz, Slugfest, like all those different games, and I loved them. And then so when EA brought out this new NFL Blitz, I was like, sure, I'll try it, and I played it, and abysmal. I played it for about an hour and stopped playing. Even as the completionist as I am about trophies, it's one of those games that I just dropped immediately. I'm like, nope, no thank you, I'm done with this. So NFL Blitz from EA is my answer there.
All right, so some questions from the chat. Kayla says PNO3. I don't know what that is. Anybody know what PNO3 is?
I do not know.
Okay.
Maybe it's an acronym for something?
I'm assuming it's an acronym, but I just don't know. Dupe says Spider-Man
I can think of Phantasy Star Online, but that's not PNO.
Maybe it's a typo. Maybe I'm trying to write Phantasy Star Online. Dupe says Spider-Man, the one before the good ones on the PS4.
Oh my God, Dupes, you are absolutely right. It's so bad I blanked it out. Spider-Man 3, the movie tie-in on PS3, was total shit, and I played more of an hour for myself, but my oldest son was pretty young at the time, so he wanted to play Spider-Man, so I had to play on his profile enough to get him to the open world where he could play it. So I had to suffer through multiple hours of that steaming turd of a game.
Rick says you can leave now because Fallout 3 is the GOAT. Kayla says it is actually called PNO3. So it's a GameCube game. All right, and my answer, which is going to sound like a troll answer, but I'm being legit when I say this, Alan Wake. I cannot stand that game.
You're being such a troll.
I cannot stand that game, and I have to finish it soon for the deal I made with Levi, and I just finished chapter 4. But that game is so bad. I don't know how anybody likes that game. Rick's telling me to fuck off.
See, Alan Wake, back in my GameStop days, I checked that one out and I played because I was not sure about horror games or whatever as much. I'm more into them now, and I played probably an hour of it. I got through the first episode, chapter, whatever the hell you call it. Sold the hell out of it to people, talked it up, but I never went back to buy it, and I still haven't bought the remake. So I'm not saying that it was bad. It was just not something that captured me. Oh yes, I want that game. I have no desire to really finish it.
All right, listen. I know it sounds like I'm trolling, and I'm really honestly I'm not. I don't like the gameplay. I don't like the story. I think the story is so generic, and I think I see the ending coming from a mile away. But I don't want to say it because I don't want to, I don't want to potentially spoil it. But it's to me, it's like I can only play that game for 20, 30 minutes before I'm like, I got to shut this off. But I'm forcing myself to play it more and more and more because I got to finish it for the deal with Levi. Nitro says his choice. Oh, this might be a hot take. His choice is Mad Max.
That was the movie tie-in that they did, which was an open world game that I think some of us played on this show, which people seem to like.
I can see that though.
I don't know why,
yeah,
but Rick...
I have it, but I've never played it. I know that Yield has and speaks somewhat highly of it. Enough that I want to give it a shot.
I enjoyed it for the car combat, but I mean, well, it wasn't really a movie tie-in, but I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. But the hate that people give it, it's legit hate. I mean, like you can burn through the story missions probably less than 8 hours, and then if you want to go for the platinum, you got a long way to go.
The chat, this is funny. The Twitch chat just banned Rick for 10 minutes for saying the word Xbox.
Oh, I was trying to figure out. I'm like, what? I was like, what the heck did he get it timed out for?
He said, "Tricky get
the
an
X word."
He said, "Tricky get an Xbox to play Quantum Break, Masterpiece, much better than Alan Wake." Rick, you're unbanned. I don't know why I banned you for saying Xbox.
Wait, I said it earlier, so I mean, I guess I'm not on Twitch, so that.
No,
that's
he typed it.
Yeah. He typed it. Yeah, I was trying to unban you out, Rick, but I couldn't.
If I can go back to Alan Wake for a little bit, where I believe that I said this previously when we talked about the game when it came out, is that while it's great that the game came back out and gave people a chance to play it that never had the opportunity to play it before because it was on Xbox and PC but never came to the PlayStation, I feel like the people that are going to get the most out of playing that game are the people who have already played it, the people who played it back when it first came out. Whereas some of the elements in that game, you know, the world traversal and all that, it's kind of clunky. Like it's not, you play games these days like shooters and in games with a lot of exploration, third-person exploration, and the game just isn't as up to snuff as a lot of those games. So, you know, they didn't update it. They updated it, but there's only so much they could do with the code. So I feel like if you're new to the game, you probably look at it with a little more harsh view than people who previously played it. Because when it comes to like modern games, does it stand up as well? No, because it's an older game and it's just a remaster. But I think that I can understand where Tricky's coming from. I don't think it's not as he's overplaying how bad it is, but I mean, I feel like he generally feels that way, but I think it's a little bit overplayed, as in like I think he's being a little ridiculous about it, but that's just my opinion. But I can understand how someone like me or Daryl or Kalai who played that game before and really enjoy it, and Levi as well, how we would get more out of the game than Tricky would, because we have that love for the game, and it's just a game that we have wanted to replay. Whereas Tricky coming at it from the eyes of 2021 and 2022, it's not as new and as fresh. So he's like, well, what is this? Like this game just feels old.
All right, so we're gonna move on. Rick, I don't know why I banned you. I'm sorry. I removed it from the ban list, but that's funny. All right, so I forgot to put in Sid from last week. He sent us a Sophie's Trophy, so I'm gonna play that now. We're gonna send it across the pond to Sid.
Hello again, guys. Sid again with Sophie's Trophies. Hope you lot are all okay. I'll be honest with you guys. This week, or this past couple of weeks, I have been playing on the Switch. I've been enjoying myself with the Switch. Every now and then it is nice to play a game with no trophies, and nobody actually told me how good the Switch was. I love that bloody machine. But I am here for Sophie's Trophies. So I will tell you about another game. This one is Kruger. It is a PS4, PS5 easy game. When I say easy, it is very easy. It doesn't take long to do at all, guys. It's a funnish little game. It kind of reminds me of something called Rick Dangerous that was on the Amiga. I don't know if people have played that one. But the trophies are simple, the game is short. And if you just want a simple one, go for it. So, as always, guys, we have Platinum Trophy, which is called Kruger. And then we have Finish Level 1, Finish Level 2, and Finish Level 3. So, obviously, not very long. Very simple platformer, you just run and jump. Then you have Avoid Obstacle in Level 1, Avoid Obstacle in Level 2, and Avoid Obstacle in Level 3. Now, I don't need to tell you what the obstacles are, guys, because as you play the game, you'll do it automatically. Very simple, very easy. Then we have Collect 1 coin, Collect 3 coins, Collect 5 coins. So, like Mario, as you run around, jump around, you will collect your coins. Then we have Make Your First Jump, Then we have jump 5 times, jump 10 times, jump 15 times, jump 20 times, and jump 25 times. So, yeah, jump a lot. You know, if you need that one explaining to you, you've got issues. But I guess you don't, guys, because you are all seasoned trophy hunters. And the last one we have is Discover Bat, which is very simple. There's a bat, and you discover it. So, yeah, I'm sorry this isn't the greatest one, guys. It's a very short one. I will try and get back to the PlayStation this week, although I'm not sure what to play. I've got the PS Plus premium thing. The streaming on the PS3 is absolute dog shite, so it keeps cutting out on that. The PS1 games they've got on there are not great. I've tried IQ, or Intelligence Cube, or Kurushi as it's called over here, and I've tried Ape Escape, which, I'm sorry guys, I can't get into Ape Escape. It's fucking awful. It really is terrible. But that's just me. Some people may still enjoy it. I don't know. But I will have a look through properly at some point. I'm just hoping for Tomb Raider with trophies. That will make me very happy and give you one hell of a good Sophie's trophies, hopefully. So, yeah, that's it from me, guys, this week. Hope you're all doing okay. Look after yourselves and keep getting those trophies. Bye.
Oh, was that you that laughed, Yield?
Yes.
I thought that was you. Some comments from the chat. Dupe says playing a Steam Deck version of Sony. Hold on, let me read exactly what he wrote because I don't want to. Sony should pop out a Steam Deck style Vita, but have it just as a PlayStation Plus machine. And Rick says, "Oh shit, playing Siphon Filter or Wild Arms at work for trophies would be amazing." Yeah, it is amazing when you play. Get trophies at work.
No one asked you.
I once got a gold star at work.
Chili?
No. not a gold star chili.
It didn't come with chili. Okay.
It did not come with chili.
Now, I will say before we go to our topic of the week that there was a rumor, and I'm saying rumor because I think it's fake, that Sony
but he posted it on the site anyway.
Well, yes, because I got to share the news because if it comes true, we say we broke it. It looks like the rumor is that Sony's making a Vita, which is basically going to be a digital-only console, which is going to be linked to PlayStation Plus and stuff like that. So, if that comes out, that would be really cool because the one image I saw looked really slick. Dupes wants to know, Riley, what do you do as a job to get you gold stars?
What was that?
Dupes wants to know, what do you do as a job that you get gold stars?
It's no, I'm not a primary school teacher. I work at a bookstore, and it's actually sort of a running joke amongst the thing. If somebody does something like the owner, as almost as a goof, like we'll give them a gold star. But I, of course, leaned into it and was like, hell yeah. And it was on the dash of my car for the longest time.
All right.
That's how I roll.
That's so awesome.
All right, so our topic of the week involves leaks. This is stemming from an article from IGN written by Ryan Dinsdale.
Wait, are we talking the same kind of leaks?
Like after eating Skyline?
No.
No, okay. I just want to confirm.
A streamer has leaked that She-Hulk is officially coming to Marvel's Avengers while live on Xbox Twitch channel with a Crystal Dynamics developer. Technique TV was the guest streaming on the channel with Avengers lead designer Brian Wagner for less than an hour before he let it slip that She-Hulk was coming to the game, with a clip later being shared by Miller on Twitter below. Despite there being no official word on the character coming to Avengers, Technique asked if fans wanted to know a fun fact about She-Hulk. Quote, "I don't know if I can say this. I think it was public knowledge. I'll just say this. I don't like the face that Brian is making." He went on to explain that his own acting coach is the voice of She-Hulk, though Technique caught on the neglected to mention that the actress's name in the case wasn't public. There's a weird sound coming through.
Someone's grilling a cricket.
Quote, nope, we never announced She-Hulk. Wagner clarified as the stream grew painfully awkward. The full conversation can still be seen on Xbox channel at around 52 minutes, where Technique grew sheepish and claimed that he doesn't know if it's true or not. Quote, we're working on our next hero, Wagner said. We haven't said who it's going to be yet. All right, so, one, it's awkward that you're streaming with a guy who just leaked the information while you're sitting there and you represent the company. But this conversation comes on, our topic of the week I wanted to stem on leaks. Like, obviously in today's day and age with the internet and stuff like that, things are going to leak. But how do you guys feel about the leaks? Like, are you looking forward to something leaking, or are you just want to wait until the company officially announces it to get the full information so you not sit there in anticipation going, is this true, is this not true? Alex, we'll start with you, sir.
I mean, I don't really look forward to leaks. Generally, when it comes to games, I try to, to get excited for games, you have to see a certain amount about the game, but I also try to keep it to a minimum because I just kind of want to experience the game as full as I can once it comes out. So I'm not really online looking for media and stuff like that. But the only instance is when, I'll go to the PlayStation Store, something's on sale, and I don't know too much about the game, so it's like, okay, I'll go watch the trailer and see what it's about. But as far as leaks go, they, like you said, with the, how many people are involved in projects and the way that information disperses and how quickly it can disperse, I think that it's, just a part of, every aspect of our lives when it comes to stuff like this. But, I don't hate it one way or the other. I guess it can feed excitement. It can be, because people can purposely leak things to kind of build excitement as a way to market stuff. But I don't see them as good or bad. I mean, I guess some leaks get into spoiler territory, and obviously no one wants to have to completely shut down from the internet because people online are just going to start sharing stuff you don't want to see. But for me personally, leaks are, they can drum up excitement. I don't feel super negative or super positive one way or the other on them. They just kind of are a thing that happen. And I know that certain companies like Nintendo, when they leak information about, that people have gotten in real big trouble from Nintendo, like Nintendo has gone after and sued them when they leaked information about, Pokemon games, specifically Pokemon Sword and Shield. So I know that people like Nintendo will go after you for that kind of thing. But me personally as a gamer, it's just kind of, every day in this industry. And, I'm not, don't hate them, don't love them. It's just kind of like if I see something, it's like, okay, we'll see what this is about.
All right, Dupes in the chat says that's another game he played for over an hour. That's it's absolute crap. Easily up there with the worst game he's ever played. Then he goes on to say, I don't think leaks exist. The companies want the info out there to create the hype, and it usually backfires. Yield, what do you think about leaks?
Unfortunately, it is an evil side of most entertainment businesses that everybody's got some insider somewhere feeding them. I mean, look at how we are eager to either talk about it here or even post it on the Facebook group of, oh, hey, so-and-so, who is a confirmed accurate leaker of these are the games you're getting and plus next month. So I think it takes some of the anticipation away, and I'm not a fan of it. I don't go looking for it. So, yeah.
All right, Riley?
It kind of depends on the situation. I'm a bit old school. I miss the old days of, having to wait for a magazine or even not so much that, but like the weekly podcast, like back in the days, the One Up Show and stuff. And with leaks and stuff that would come out like that. But I miss the hype and build up around like E3, and which obviously is defunct now, but that type of stuff where there's a build up for, oh, here's going to be an announcement. And instead of being like, oh yeah, that was cool, what they announced, it's like, oh, well, shit, they didn't announce this thing that I wanted. It was, and we already knew about that. Well, I feel like they're not great. I get. Well, I mean, it's the information, age that we live in, where the stroke, you can, the accidental stroke of a button can leak game code to the internet. It's happened. So, I mean, stuff like that. I'm not the biggest fan. I don't. It doesn't. I'm kind of with you there. It doesn't bother me a ton, or I'm sorry, with Alex, because it doesn't bother me a ton. If there is a game that's coming out that I'm excited about, I will. And I think Yield and I have talked about this privately. Like, we'll go, media blackout on it just to avoid spoilers, because like leaks, I feel are okay. I hate it when there's a leak and then the company like tries to downplay it or like wag the dog to, oh no, look over here. Just own it. It is what it is. I think this guy handled it well when it was leaked. He was like, we're working on our next hero. We haven't said who it's going to be. Like, he didn't. I think he handled that not only the best way that he could, but really the best way that the way things leaks like that should be handled. Because he's not going to say, oh no, because he's got to report to the legal team when he gets off the stream. But
his face basically confirmed it too.
Yeah, like his face in there is like, oh shit. But I mean, and again, going back to like the days, the heyday of like the 1UP show and like all those when IGN, they had their own podcasts that I at the time listened to religiously. They would often have a dev or somebody in there and would make mention of the fact that someone from the legal team was sitting like right across the table, mean mugging them to be sure that they didn't open their mouth and say anything that they didn't want out yet. It was almost an adversarial, which to me then felt adversarial from between the company and me as a consumer. Now, like, it is what it is. Work harder, make stuff good, make us interested. Lean into the leaks. Shit happens. If your stuff gets leaked, just be like, well, we haven't said yet, or don't try to a bunch of bullshit spin on it. I mean, yeah, and then like Yield said, sometimes you get the leaks go into spoiler territory. If you're going to spoil something, you can burn in hell. That's the way I feel about it. Like, I went completely media dark on The Last of Us 2 once. I heard that there were some leaks coming out. I had Grand Theft Auto, was it San Andreas? Yeah, San Andreas was spoiled for me on that, like shortly after the game came out, and I'm just like, oh, that was awful. So yeah, as far as leaks, it is what it is. I think that companies need to be more agile with how they deal with stuff, because things are going to get out and consumers are not stupid for the most part. And so don't treat them like they're stupid. Yeah, again, I don't have a problem with leaks. It does, I feel, take a little of the Christmas morning joy hype out of it. But I've never had a game be ruined by a leak. I've never had my experience with a game be ruined by knowing that it was coming out early. Like if they announce, oh, there's a new, like GTA 6 is dropping. Well, I know GTA 6 is dropping. I will probably purchase it when it comes out. But knowing of its existence, or knowing even a window of when it's going to be released, like as far as like that, a leak, that Rockstar would be pissed if that got out. I don't care. That's not going to damage my enjoyment of the game. Now, if there's a big plot twist and somebody tells me, oh yeah, the main character dies 2/3 of the way through the game, and then you're playing as Raiden from Metal Gear Solid, yeah, that's going to impact my enjoyment.
All right, so
Worst game direction ever.
Some comments from the chat. Dupe says, if it's that sensitive, get everybody working on under an NDA, which I responded to him saying NDAs don't always work. Many break them. He said true, but then use it to the full effect. Blacklist them from ever getting any info again. Then he goes, same with spoilers. If you spoil TV shows, game plot points like Stranger Things and Rocket League, insta-banned. And then a bunch of things about Rick wanted to know if everybody watched Stranger Things now because his 9-year-old is listening to Master Puppets on repeat.
Yeah, go there. Spotify has the official soundtrack for Stranger Things, and it is really, really good. Especially the Stranger Things mix they did of Separate Ways by Journey. Very nice. I will interject another thing into this conversation where there is definitely a dark side to leaks, because a lot of times, when we're surfing the internet, we just kind of happen upon leaks. It's not like we're necessarily seeking them out, but there are certain times when I can think back to the 35th anniversary of Zelda, which we just had last year, which Nintendo completely fucking wasted. But there were all these I guess, I don't know if you'd classify these as leaks or rumors or whatever, but everyone talked about, we're getting HD editions of, this Zelda game and that Zelda game and Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, and none of that stuff ever came true. So a lot of times these leaks, when they turn out to be true, and I don't know if we want to differentiate between what is a true leak and what turns out to be false, but you get people hyped for stuff. It's like, oh my God, it's coming, because we do have a tendency a lot of times to like, okay, well, this person has been correct about all these leaks in the past, so they've got to be right about this time. And you get people excited, and then all of a sudden stuff doesn't happen, and it's like, now I'm pissed. Because now I got hyped up, and I'm completely disappointed. So there is definitely a dark side to leaks. I definitely agree with Riley that people need to be more agile when it comes to, dealing with leaks. Companies need to, lean into them. But there's definitely a negative aspect to leaks, especially when it comes to so many leaks, it's kind of hard to tell what's bullshit and what's not. We kind of have a track record for certain people based on their contacts within companies, but sometimes even those fall through. So you just you got to be careful where you step, because there may be a Kevin McAllister Home Alone trap waiting for you behind any of these leaks.
Well, and to that point, while you were talking, I just remembered, I guess I need to redact or go back on what I said. There was I guess it wasn't really a leak so much as a full-blown announcement of a game that ended up not coming out that did impact my enjoyment of the game, because I never got it. And that was, do you guys remember, because I'm not the biggest fighting game player, biggest fighting game fan. I'll dabble a little bit here and there. But when was it Street Fighter Cross Tekken came out?
Yeah, and then they were going to do Tekken Cross Street Fighter.
Yes, and that was the one that I was interested in. The Street Fighter characters in the Tekken engine, and it never happened. And I was sorely disappointed, because that was the one of the two. Like, I could have gave a shit about the other one, but that was the one that I was actually interested in.
And I'm sure with how popular Tekken is, you were not the only person. Then that game, it just actually completely disappeared, off the face of the earth.
Yep.
All right. Well, apparently the Twitch stream is going in and out because ads keep popping up. I'm about to figure that out. See if we can reduce the number of ads. All right. So with now, when it comes to leaks, see, to me, it's a double-edged sword, and I have to admit that I'm kind of guilty in leaking something. A couple years ago. Before I go into this, Riley, you mentioned about E3 being kind of dead. It was just recently announced. I didn't put it in the agenda, but ReedPop, the people that do PAX, are taking over and hosting E3 every year now.
Oh, cool.
So I don't know if that's going to change anything. It's going to make it more relevant. But ReedPop definitely does put on a good convention, because anybody that's been to a PAX knows that. So let's see what ReedPop does start next year with E3. Now, going back to my story. See, leaks, to me, when I first started Proving Gamer, I wanted to get clicks to the website. I wanted to get, I wanted people to write. I wanted, to attract attention to the website. Obviously, if you launch a website, that's one of your main goals. A couple years ago, and I never mentioned the guy's name, but I was talking to a guy from Naughty Dog, and he accidentally told me that The Last of Us 2 existed. And, he quickly caught himself and stopped, and I said that I told him that, if he gives me a little details about the game, I won't, I'll leave his name out of it, and I wound up reporting it. And I was, if you go back into the comments of the article, I was basically shit on, saying that I was a liar, didn't exist, blah, blah, blah. But everything I wrote in that article came true. Every single thing. And if you guys remember...
except it wasn't announced when you said it was going to be announced.
Well, see, okay, and that's what I was about to go into. If you guys remember E3 a couple years ago, I don't remember the game they did it, but they revealed a game at the start of Sony's press conference. And then at the end of the press conference, they brought that game back out. I think it was it Twisted Metal?
I think it was No Man's Sky.
I don't think it was No Man's Sky. It was. I had to go back.
I
and
remember
look.
what you're talking about, but I can't think of the title. But yeah, I definitely remember because I'm like, why are they bookending with the same game?
And what I assume happened, again, I don't have any knowledge of this. I assume that's when they were going to announce The Last of Us 2, and something happened where they weren't allowed to, and then they wound up revealing The Last of Us 2 at the PlayStation Experience in December that year. So it's one of those things like I found out the information about The Last of Us 2. I knew it was coming, and I reported it without reporting who told me, because that's what a good journalist says. You don't reveal your sources. But
I mean, I don't necessarily think that's a blanket statement there. Like, if you tell somebody, things are off. If you tell somebody some things are off the record, you don't report it. And also, if somebody wants to remain anonymous, you try to respect that. But you do try to name your sources because that gives you credibility.
Well, see, and that's why I was so basically told I was a liar, is because I wouldn't reveal my source. And everybody's like, if you know this, then reveal who it is, blah, blah, blah. And I actually put the article on N4G, and I was banned from N4G for 2 weeks because I wasn't allowed.
Man, you're getting banned from all these websites, PSN profiles.
I was banned because I wouldn't reveal my
Pornhub.
source. And they said that obviously it was a straight-out lie, that I was just trying to get clicks, blah, blah, blah. And it wound up coming true.
Should have thrown it back in their face. I would have.
Well, I did. I actually I emailed a message to the guy afterwards. I said, "Oh, it seems like I was lying," and he replied with, "Oh, I'm so sorry, but you didn't name your sources. We can't put this on N4G unless you name your sources." I was like, "Do you guys understand what journalism is?"
Right.
So, the point I'm trying to make is that with leaks, it's a double-edged sword, because you, as journalists and as small-time creators, you want that big scoop. Like, me being able to drop that The Last of Us Part 2 was coming out was huge for us, because I knew that nobody else had that information. It was going to drive traffic to the site, which it did. But the question, the ethical question is, was I wrong for doing that? And to me personally, when it comes to leaks and stuff like that, I've said on the show many times that what I would rather happen is, if you have a game in development, I'd like to see, like, you come out and say, okay, this game is in development and it's coming out in a month. Like, don't give us a year wait. Like, I just saw a trailer for a RoboCop game that's not coming out until late next year. I'm interested in the game, but by the time it comes around, I'm probably going to forget about it, or I'm going to have 15 other things to play. Let me know the game's coming out. Once it goes gold, give me the game. And when it comes to leaks and whatnot, I like I said, it's a double-edged sword, but I prefer things not to leak, because I think it creates undue hype. I mean, look at Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones was announced way too early. They wasn't ready, and now you take a guy like Yield, who's like,
I was shut up and take my money.
Right, you went from shut up and take my money to, I don't know if I'm even gonna look at the trailers anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Now I want to play the game before I actually decide, yeah, I want to buy it.
Right, and I mean, and that necessarily wasn't a leak. I mean, that was Ubisoft coming out and saying, we have this in development. But in the meantime, from Ubisoft saying this is the game, how many times, and like Yield, you said on last week's show, like every time you go to look for that 24 minutes of leaked footage, all you kept seeing was the trailer from 2018.
The trailer from 2018, and it specifically says that in all the mentions underneath the audio or the video, that footage from E3 2018. I'm like, that's not leaked footage from
it's not the relevant results.
Yeah, it's
here.
not the relevant. Yeah, so I'm like, it's a bad thing. Well, Ubisoft's been bad about this. Look at Beyond Good and Evil 2. I mean, they dropped that trailer, and
you haven't heard anything since.
That's a really slick trailer. Never played the first game. I'm interested in this game because of the trailer. Yeah,
You ain't heard a word since. I think I Googled it a couple of months ago just because I'm like, hey, I wonder if anything's going on with this game. And it's, supposedly still in development, but we haven't heard anything about it. What was that other game I've posted? Was it Black Myth?
Oh yeah, Wukong, Black Myth.
Wukong, yeah, that one that looks super amazing, but that's that's going on what, 4 years?
Well, and that one, so this actually two things, because I'll touch on that in a second. But I mean, because I want the listeners to understand, I know you have, I'm not trying to talk down, but like somebody who's been following this and dabbled in games journalism, there are so many things that can contribute to this. Like with them announcing a game early, it could be one jackass in marketing that's like, no, we need this for the show, and that's what you guys are going to do. So there's a lot of things that are necessarily out of control of the people who should be in charge of that kind of stuff, which is why a lot of that stuff, when we're talking about stuff getting released or announced way far in advance, and then you have like the one Killzone trailer where it doesn't look anything like the actual gameplay. It's and they're and again, that goes back to companies being agile and honest. But with I'm glad you brought up Wukong, because that is specifically when that announced, like the devs said, hey, I'm sorry that this is not up to snuff. This is just sort of some pre-alpha stuff, like proof of concept. I'm sorry that it looks so bad, which blows my mind. And I'm like, shit, I want to play that right now. I don't but like he actually issued and that's that Eastern philosophy, but he issued an apology. I'm sorry, and you're not going to see anything more about this for whatever. Like, almost not that it necessarily leaked, but that he did not expect it to blow up the way that it did. It was just, he was sort of putting it out there, and the fact that he had the whatever you want to call it to be like, hey, apologizing for something that looked that freaking gorgeous. That speaks a lot. But I mean, and sometimes you do need that sort of long hype, because sometimes marketing teams just aren't that freaking good at their jobs, or they don't understand their audience. But yeah, like Wukong, I feel like that was great because I had kind of forgot that it existed, and then as soon as you mentioned it, I'm like, oh my god, that's right! I freaking can't wait. I'm like pumped about it now. I'm like, I can't wait to get my hands on that, and it'll ebb and flow, and like that until I have the game in my hands. But I mean, don't feed me a bunch of bullshit, but then don't also drip stuff little out. I think that has turned out, at least for me personally, that has turned out to be an excellent marketing strategy and campaign, because it was burned into my memory, and then it's on the back burner because there's life and there's kids and there's work and there's video games that I'm trying to get through. And then the minute you say, oh, that one, the Black Myth, I'm like, holy shit, that's right, I can't wait. And that's again, to quote the late great Dusty Rhodes, it's like catching lightning in a bottle. It's difficult to do, but that's what you want, and that's what all marketing teams are trying to do. Most of them are just like monkeys banging on a keyboard. But that's the kind of hype that you want to get. You want to grab somebody, and one of the things that we were looking at that Wukong, is I've completely hijacked the topic now. As we were looking at,
it's
Wukong,
a really good game. If you haven't looked it up, go look it up.
You're looking at it, and you can see that it's not. Again, I'm showing my age, my throwback. It's not the bullshit Killzone 2 trailer, Killzone trailer, whatever. That's like all CG. Like, you're looking at that, and you're like, holy shit, that is actual gameplay. That's not somebody trying to blow smoke up my ass about Dead Island. It's not like, oh, this looks great and it's totally different. Like, I want to get my hands on that, and that's the kind of stuff that like grabs you. It's like, again, rest in peace, Dusty. Lightning in a bottle. When you catch that, that's the kind of stuff. I mean, if I were there are tons of games coming out. I'm super looking forward to Saints Row. If you had brought up Saints Row, it would not have grabbed me that viscerally. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a day one purchase. But Wukong, oh my god, that's right, it exists, and it looks freaking awesome, and I can't wait.
All right. I just put this in the Skype chat. I know we're getting along and we're over the 2-hour mark right now, but I had another topic in case we were short on time, and I think we should really go into it now because it really applies to everything you guys are talking about. So I'm making an executive decision to throw one more topic in here. All right. So this article is coming from PCGamer.com, and it says 10 games we can't believe are still technically in development. So I'm going to go through the 10 games, and I'm going to mention the game. If you remember it, then we'll talk about it a little bit. If not, we'll move on to the next game. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Sounds good.
All right. Squadron 42. It was originally revealed in 2012. Cloud Imperium Games said at the time, get ready to enlist. It was last seen in 2018, and the current release date is to be determined, but it's still years away.
I don't even remember hearing about it.
Yeah, me neither.
Alex?
Same.
I'm going to have to Squadron 42?
All right, moving on. I don't know how to pronounce this, so I'm just going to spell it EITR. Etzer. It was originally revealed in 2015. The production company said they were openly talking about a Vita port, if you wondered how long 2015 was. Jeez. It was last seen this year, and there is no current release date. According to the article, it says, this is a weird one. Etzer made a lot of waves at E3 2015 with its mournful pixel art aesthetic and weightly medieval combat. The trailer seemed to hint at a mashup between Diablo and Dark Souls, which was generally a novel idea 7 years ago, and then nothing. The game seemed to vanish, and I dredged up a post from 2019 where the duo behind it spoke about losing funding. I'm guessing from a one-time publishing Devolver Digital. Still, new work-in-progress footage seems to hit the subreddit every couple of months, so the lights are still on in the studio. Unfortunately, after divulge of other Souls-like games in the intervening years, it looks like the hardcore hook looks a lot less groundbreaking. Do you guys remember this game?
I do not.
You know what? Let me put this link in the chat for you guys because I didn't put it in the agenda. It's in the Skype chat now.
TIR.
All right.
I love that the thumbnail is Beyond Good and Evil.
Yeah, well, that's on the list. That's why I wanted.
Well, it better be. Okay, so what I've seen of Squadron 42 so far, it looks kind of cool. Now, granted, it's all cinematic, but it looks kind of cool.
All right. I'm assuming none of you guys have heard of this game. Or Etzer.
No.
All right, moving on. Skull and Bones. We talked about Skull and Bones, so we don't really need to get into that. Metroid Prime 4. It was first revealed in 2017. What Nintendo said since then is nothing. All they showed was a JPEG. It was last seen in 2017, and it says current release date. You might want to ask Miyamoto for that.
Ouch.
Yeah. Metroid was never really my jam, but they'll sell the shit out of it when it does eventually, if it does eventually launch.
All right, Alex, you have anything about Metroid Prime 4?
No, I mean, people got excited for Metroid Dread, so it's just kind of one of those franchises that people who have been longtime Nintendo fans just kind of, lose their shit about.
All right. Moving on, the next game on the list is Unsung Story. It was originally revealed in 2014. Playdeck said, in the hands of the veteran tactical RPG master himself, Unsung Story will reimagine a classic game genre as Yoshimi Matsuno weaves together one of the complex and rich game worlds he is known for, with inspiring class-based tactics gameplay. It was last seen this year. Its current release date is who knows, but it will hit early access in 2020.
Never heard of it.
Mm-mm.
Alex?
No, generally if I don't respond, it's
okay.
Never heard of it.
All right. He's still in development? God, it better be.
Next game on the list, In the Valley of Gods. It was revealed in 2017. Campo Santo, I think, was the studio behind Firewatch. What it said since then, nothing. All we saw was a trailer. It was last seen in 2017, and current release date says not looking good.
Well, they got bought up. Oh, who did they sell to? Oh, damn it. They got bought up by somebody.
Steam, wasn't it?
Yeah, not even Steam. And yeah.
Or Valve, I mean, yeah.
For Valve, yeah. And we haven't really heard anything, which kind of honked me off when Valve bought them, because I'm like, well, great, this will never come to console. But the trailer looked amazing. I mean, it looked like Firewatch, but kind of with an Indiana Jones vibe.
Well, according to the article, it says, it's weird to think Campo Santo, which broke out with the multi-popular indie hit Firewatch, hasn't released a video game in 6 years. The follow-up to the ponderous Wyoming mystery was supposed to be in the Valley of the Gods, which earned some airtime at the Game Awards 5 years ago. Since then, the company was purchased by Valve, and it said that its next project would be developed underneath the dual estate. Unfortunately, in 2019, development in the Valley of Gods was put on hold after Campo Santo developers moved over to work on Half-Life Alyx. No information in the Valley of the Gods has escaped since one member of the team left Valve in 2021, and you wouldn't be wrong to presume the game is dead even if it's never been officially declared.
That's a damn shame, because I had forgotten that this existed, but seeing the screenshot there and from the Firewatch developers, I do remember this being announced and being, along with Yield, being super hyped, because I mean, I know we both loved Firewatch. It was way better than it was more than I expected.
It needed to be.
So I was pumped for this, but again, this had kind of slipped. This was not still forefront in my mind, and it didn't have the visceral grab of Wukong. But it, that's pretty damn sad that Valve is murdering interesting IPs.
All right, next game on the list: Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines 2. It was originally revealed in 2019. What Paradox Interactive said, it says, for anybody who's played the first one, they're going to start playing and immediately feel at home. It was last seen in 2019, and the current release date says your guess is as good as mine.
Nope. Never heard of it.
I've heard of it, but I've never played any of the games. They're just not really something that interests me. So I was probably aware that it was out there, but yeah.
All right. Next game on the list, you guys have already talked much about it. Beyond Good and Evil 2. It was originally revealed, it was teased in 2008, but formally announced in 2017. Ubisoft said then, if you've been waiting for news about Beyond Good and Evil, well, here you go. It was last seen in 2017, and the current release date says, who knows, but supposedly development is progressing well.
Yeah, like I said, the trailer looked freaking slick. It made me want to see gameplay trailer to see if it was on par with the cinematic trailer.
Yeah, it's one that I have been interested in. The series itself, I've always had a passing interest in. I actually bought the first one many moons ago as a gift for Homer, but I've never played it myself. And it's the second one, I was super interested in seeing it, but at this point, it's almost like a Skull and Bones thing. It's okay, well, if it ever comes out, we'll see. But the longer it goes, the more I'm
the less interested you are about it.
Yeah, it's venturing into. I mean, shit. It was teased originally in 2008. We're into Duke Nukem territory now, and I know, Duke Nukem was not a total seeming pile of shit.
No, it wasn't.
But it was not worth that long of a wait, and I'm kind of feeling like I'm losing interest.
All right. Next game on the list, Dead Island 2. It was originally revealed in 2014. Deep Silver said then, Dead Island 2 takes players from the iconic Golden Gate to the celebrated beachfront boardwalk of Southern California's Venice Beach. It was last seen, a 2015 version of the build leaked in 2020, And the current release date, the rumors say 2023. You guys remember this trailer? It was the one with the guys.
I do. It's with the guy jogging,
right?
With the earbuds in, and yeah.
Well, that game never came out.
That game never came out.
That was my thoughts too. I was like, shit, that didn't come out. I thought that was.
Yeah, I thought that game came out years ago.
So, yeah, I didn't realize that was still in the back burner. That's how excited I was for it. Well, and again, which we alluded to earlier in the show when we were talking, Dead Island 1. Like, the trailer for the first game was amazing. It was also nothing to do with the actual tone of the game. The trailer for the second one that we saw with the guy jogging, I thought it was unique and interesting, but the tone didn't interest me at all. And I'm like, well, also, we don't have any idea if it's going to fit the tone of the actual game or if they're just blowing smoke with a super fun trailer again. But yeah, swear to God, I thought that was already out and forgotten. Sorry, Deep Silver.
All right. And the last game on this list, I'm not doing this to troll anybody. Half-Life 2 Episode 3. According to the article, it says what Valve said then. It says, ha. Last scene, it says, I think we both know. And current release date, dream on. And then they go on to say, okay, I know this was mean. I'm sorry. But hey, who knows? Maybe someday we'll figure out what's going on in the Arctic. Ideally, without needing to wear a VR headset for it.
But is this actually in development? Or is that just wishful thinking?
I think it's more wishful thinking than anything. They've never officially confirmed this.
Understanding the way, I mean, I've read some articles and stuff on the way that Valve works as a developer. It's very loose, and I sound like an old man, but it's very hippie-fied. And so, I mean, it's probably not dead. They're never going to kill it, but it's just nobody's bothering to put effort into it. That's and it's so painful because I played Half-Life 2 episodes 1 and 2 on the Orange Box PS3. It was my first introduction to it. Absolutely loved it. And then the cliffhanger of all cliffhangers, and then like even as a primarily a console player, this still, even years later, still pisses me off.
All right. I read a story recently that they said that even more anticipated than Half-Life is people want another Portal game.
Yes.
That they actually want the Portal game more than they want Half-Life. Good. I'm sorry, Yield. I talked over you.
I said the Portal games are really good.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, we see all the time, like, when's the next Half-Life? When's the next Half-Life? But I see people saying, I want a Portal more than I want a Half-Life.
Well, and I think part of that, not to cut you off, but I think part of that is because Portal was introduced with the Orange Box, which was, the big thing about the Orange Box was, Valve is doing a console release or a PlayStation release.
Right.
And so that opened, for me personally, that opened that section of Valve's catalog to me to be able to play it to where I'd never, because I never had a PC that could run stuff like that. I've never been a PC gamer. I'm not. But I was like, oh, wow, these are really great games. And Portal is one of my favorite games of all time. My next tattoo will most likely be a Portal tattoo. And
just remember, the cake is a lie.
Yes.
The cake is a lie.
And so I think that when you had the Orange Box, there was such a buzz about the Orange Box coming to PlayStation. They tried to make it a big deal, and then Valve was like, fuck, we hate working with Sony and Microsoft. But that was a big deal because it was such it was a value. You're getting all these fantastic games for one low price of whatever the hell PS3 games released for. And Portal was something that was so new. Like that was developed by a group of college kids. The guys from Valve saw it and said, holy shit, you guys want a job? And then they turned that into this 3-4 hour experience that blew up. And the second game was fantastic. It delivered in spades. But that was that was like the first, to my knowledge, and I could be talking out my ass, but it was the first Valve game that was available everywhere. It was available PlayStation, Xbox, PC. For me personally, I had never played a Valve game. Had it not been for the orange box, I probably would still never have. But that it opened that up, and so that it was sort of like right place, right time that made it sort of a landmark, blow up. And so now me played it. Yeah, I want to see Half-Life 2 Episode 3 because I want to know what the hell happens because it's such a glorious cliffhanger. But I would take Portal in a second. To hell with Half-Life because I haven't been waiting on it for 30 years, like a lot of people have. But oh my god, I would give my eye teeth for some more Portal.
Some comments from the chat real quick. Rick says Portal Bridge Constructor is amazing, and Dupe,
yes, it is.
Dupe says I think the most anticipated game is a Silent Hill remake sequel. Any Sony shows or shown is generally Twitter blows up with Silent Hill. And then Rick replies by saying that if it doesn't have Kojima behind it, it will be a disappointment though. And then Dupe says everyone wants to see PT come to fruition.
Yep. And I will say I think most of us are, I would assume that most of the audience scales a little bit younger than most of us. But as somebody who, for years, the holy grail that people were sure was never going to happen was the Final Fantasy VII remake. That was the golden goose. That was the one to chase. And it was like I had never played it. I had no interest. Like my cousins and stuff played it, but it wasn't like, oh man, I can't wait for Final Fantasy. I'm just like, whatever. But now, so many years later, when they actually did do the remake, it looks glorious. Like I want to play that. So I still hold out hope that someday my grandchildren will be like, look what I got, Grandpa. And I'll be like, sit down, kid. We're going to run some multiplayer. So never give up hope is what I'm saying. Except maybe on the Firewatch thing.
Yeah, in the Valley of the Gods is dead.
All right.
Buried in the desert like E.T.
All right, we've got really long on this week's show.
Thank you.
Let's wrap up the show. Alex, let's do your shout out, sir.
Give a shout out to the listeners, the fans, the fuel to the fire that is Trophy Horrors. Without our community, Trophy Horrors is just, it ain't nothing. So thanks to everybody who joined us in the chat. Hopefully Tricky will get to since he's watching the chat, he'll name off all of those people. But thank you for sticking around for us, especially if you're sticking around across the pond. It's super late for you all on a Sunday night. So thank you all for continuing to be really the lifeblood of this entire show. Give a shout out to Tricky and to Yield as well as to Riley for we had to reschedule him, but it's actually the first time I think I've talked to Riley since we played Rocket League together.
It's been way too long, dude.
It's been a while, yeah. But it's great to have you on the show because obviously the conversation there is fantastic, and we finally got delved into the Ohio chili situation, the conundrum there in Ohio, and we took the show to new and strange places. So it's always good to have you on, sir.
The next time I'm on, we can do an Ohio dialect quiz.
Is it pop or is it soda?
It's soda!
Let me squeeze by you there. Like two people are laughing their asses off right now.
Probably Homer is one of them.
Yes.
And last but not least, I want to give a shout out to my loving and awesome girlfriend, Ashley. That, I love you, honey. And I'm going to pass it off to our guest, Riley. Riley, talk yourself up and where we can find you, if anywhere, sir. Take this as an opportunity to jumpstart the corpse that is Gametwerp. Can we get that going again?
The corpse is called Average Geeks.
That might take some necromancy and lawyers. I don't know. But shameless self-promotion. I don't really do anything right now.
Well, hey,
your Twitch.tv
your average
/average geeks.
That'll come back alive when we were here. What's the next one called?
Yes. We were here forever.
We were here forever.
Yeah.
When that one comes on, you and I will be going through that.
Yeah, I've got some hardware issues that I need to address before I can be streaming again. Yeah, so anybody wants to hit me up with questions or anything, PSN, hit me up at thebrain76. I'll probably regret throwing that out there. No, your community's great. Yeah, that's as far as like self-promotion, that's it. I annoy Ben when we play Rocket League, and so,
Everybody annoys me.
Well, listen, you may annoy him, but at least he doesn't mute you.
I drive him out of the voice chat. Yeah, he mutes you, he leaves to get away from me. Which, by the way, I want you to know, dude, I do not care at all about that stolen goal the other night. That had nothing to do with anything. I was done long before that.
Well, yeah. But I still felt bad. I wasn't honestly trying to steal it. We had so many goals that got knocked out at the last second. I'm just like, knock the damn thing in.
Yeah. So as far as shout outs, gosh, it's been a minute. First of all, I want to shout out to everybody that was in chat tonight, because this is a new experience for me, doing sort of the live chat thing with a podcast.
Well, it's new to us too.
Being behind the mic is I mean, it's been a minute, so I mean, this is great. But chat, you guys were great. Nitro, Dupes, I'm scrolling through chat. Rick especially, thanks for saying that even after my Fallout hot take that I was a great guest. So you guys have added another layer of fun to this for me. An old school guy. Shout out to this wonderful new communication platform called Discord. Yield, you should give it a try sometime.
It doesn't work for me.
How did I know you were going to do that, Riley?
Because I got to bust Yield's balls at every given opportunity. Yeah, a shout out to, again, everybody that was in chat today. You guys have made this an even more fun experience. I love coming on and talking. I love hanging out with the Trophy Horse guys, as long as we're not playing Rocket League together. No, but seriously, you guys have made this great. I want to give a special shout out to Homer Gets Duffed. I know my dude's going to be listening. He was a great... I mean, he and I have been friends. I've known him almost as long as I've known Yield. Super cool guy, but he was also a big supporter of me back in the Gametwerp days. We made a good run with the Average Geeks podcast, and I want to give a special shout out, because back from the sarcastic gamer days, when
we're going old school,
three or four people who had absolutely zero in common started the Gametwerp podcast, and it was such a motley crew of people that turned into 200 some episodes of just a lot of fun. Hands down, the Gametwerp community was the best. We had the best fans, the best community ever, and I'm sure that both of them listen to this show. I just no, but for real, I want to give a shout out to all you guys. Thanks for having me on, Tricky. Thanks for giving me a second opportunity after it fell through the first time. I did my best to not get myself in trouble, so that I could still be on the show. But yeah, this has been so much fun. I love coming on with you guys, and I'd forgotten how much I enjoyed being behind the mic. So yeah, shout out to all you guys. You all rock. Your community rocks, and yeah, you guys are just awesome. Thanks.
The question is, does Cleveland rock?
No. Wow. The only thing good that came out of Cleveland was the Drew Carey show. Cleveland sucks.
Well, my Johnny Gargano tattoo would disagree with you.
Oh, okay, I'll take that back.
What about the Miz?
He's from Cleveland?
I'm a fan of Miz. I am.
I believe Miz came out of Cleveland.
Yes.
All right, we'll say 3.
I didn't know that he had come out at all. I thought he was.
Yield your shout-outs.
Oh, you gonna end on that? Okay.
Well, I had to move on.
Away before I get in trouble.
I mean, Riley is the reason why our only TikTok video got banned
Why did it get banned again?
because he said Pornhub.
Oh, well, that's good. It was TikTok. It didn't need to be on there anyway.
Gametwerp was mentioned in an article with Ron Jeremy, so I just want to point that out. We
Yes!
came up as Google search results. So, anyways, I'm
So a shout out to Travis, Riley, and Homer get stuff for Rocket League on Friday night. Shout out to Homer for helping me get my two multiplayer trophies in Rayman Legends. Now I'm just like I said, down to the grind for that. A shout out to Riley for being on the night. Shout out to Alex and Tricky for recording. Shout out to Rick, Dupes, Nitro, and anybody else who joined us on Twitch.
Gareth also on?
Gareth was here too.
Shout out to Gareth for putting together that list again. And I think
we're sure he'll do better next time.
He'll check it twice.
Yeah, it's some Santa Claus shit going on there.
All right.
That's Indiana. That's not Ohio.
Yield, were you done?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I got distracted.
Before you go on, Trigger, I do want to throw one more out there because I forgot. And then when Yield mentioned Homer and Travis, special shout out to Travis, aka with his new nickname of Uncle Touchy. So yeah,
you're just trying to get us bad now.
For finally accepting my PSN friend request after like 6 months, and much irritation. So yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Dupes, Rick, Nitro, Gareth. Somebody else popped in here too. I forgot.
I love noodles.
Caneless.
Yes.
I want to give a shout out to all you guys. Thanks for doing the coming to the Twitch chat. I want to give a special shout out to Yield here for being patient with this, because I know this Twitch chat's not exactly his thing, and I know he gets annoyed with it. But
it does feel like it slowed down the show a little bit, but I'll let you do your thing.
But in Yield's defense here, I think he's more patient with this because it's not interrupting Rocket League.
Yes.
Special shout out to Rick who gifted a sub and gave 101 bits, so that's good for the show. I appreciate that very much. For anybody watching on Twitch, I'm going to try to figure out what's going on with the ads because I don't want the show being interrupted with ads all the time. Average Geeks, just subscribe to Prime. Thank you. Special shout out to the goddess, Sweet Mama D. Shout out to Alex, who's very happy he doesn't have to edit the show because I took it off his hands.
Yeah, because you knew I'd be pissed about having to edit a 2.5-hour show.
Well, we're getting on 3 hours now, so.
We mean 3 hours. It's 2.5 on mine.
Not quite yet.
Well, the Skype call has been going for 2 hours and 48 minutes right now.
Yeah.
Well, for you, mine's only been going for about 2.5.
Yeah. I mean, my Audacity's only been running for 20 minutes, so.
I hate you. I really hope that's not true. If I have to rip this audio from the Twitch video, I'm going to be very upset.
Yours has only been going for 20? I mean, I thought I just hit record a little bit ago.
Special shout out to everybody. Thank you for coming in. Excuse me. I'm trying to make sure I get everybody. Yes, thank you very much, all the listeners. I'm gonna work on this Twitch thing, make it more presentable, more appeasing to the eyes, because 4 Skype symbols is just not happy with me. Thank you everybody for the chat. So until next week, if there's nothing else, happy trophy hunting. All right. 5 seconds of silence. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.